That's $10,000, Connor. Ha ha! Yeah! 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 This show is not for sharpshooters. This show is a fucking machine gun. There's no chewy center to this show. It's all hard candy. This show is not a sniper on a fucking roof. This show is a drone taking out a village. Do not invite me into your house because I will come in and I will wreak fucking havoc. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Second go at this, folks. Second attempt at a show this week. It is Wednesday afternoon. I am in Lily's house. Lily Bunched Up is my producer and my friend. And I just did a show. What did I do? About 35 minutes of a show. And then I said, let's start this over. Something like that. Here's why, folks. Because I was doing the show, and I think we got about 15 minutes in, and I realized I was doing the show in German. And I caught myself, and I went, in my head, I even said, was ist das? I was like, why are you... Because I cut the German version of the show on Thursdays. I forgot it was Wednesday. Because remember last week I had to do this show on Tuesday, and I got all screwed up with my schedule. So I do the German version on Thursday, and so now I'm here on Wednesday. I did the first, and Lily's very nice, and she just let me do the first 15 minutes of German. I don't know if she was just as confused as I was, or she... Oh, were you? Were you out of it? All right, that's what it was. See, because I couldn't figure it out because I finished, and all of a sudden it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, it's Wednesday, man, motherfucker. You can't be doing the German version yet. That's tomorrow. So I had to call a halt to the proceedings. I had to stop the whole thing, ground the gears, and we stopped the presses, and Lily hit stop on her computer. And so we had to scrap a 15-minute chunk of German, folks, which is not good for anybody. You know who's really upset about that? The Germans. Because I cut this show tomorrow. They're going to go, what was in the 15 minutes that you were supposed to bring us yesterday? I can't remember it. And Lily hit erase. She already dumped it out, so I have no idea what brilliance I had created in German that I can't bring to them tomorrow. We have to try to remember. Because she wrote down some possible titles in German, and there's Schnitzel and Schnauzer. She wrote that down. That seems like a title. That was a story I told. Oh, it's fantastic. Any of you people with the German iTunes store, download the show. Das ist gut. Actually, that's the name of it over in Germany. The show's called Das ist gut. Because 40-year-old Kinder to them, they're like, I don't know what that means. I don't. So we had to just go with Das ist gut. So you guys download that next tomorrow or next week or whenever you get the iTunes Germany store. So tomorrow I have to cut the German version. Today is the American version. Now I'm back on track. I'm with you people. Here we are. Hello, America. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. Tomorrow's for the Krauts. Today's for the Yanks. I need to keep that in mind. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Other than the fact that I got all scrambled in my languages a little earlier today. But other than that, I'm back and I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to do an American show. Let's do it. And right now, I'd like to defer to my friend Lily Bunched Up, who will perform God Bless America. What if we did that? What if we opened every show with like that, like the national anthem? No, it's the pledge. What if we did the Pledge of Allegiance? Holy shit. You go to a baseball game now, they sing God Bless America in the 7th inning, and I just want to boo at the top of my fucking lungs. I do. I swear to God. Because it means nothing. It means nothing to baseball. It means nothing to God. Do you think God is peering down here? What if there was a God, okay? What if there was a guy in the sky with fucking sandals and a beard and a fucking robe and whatever the fuck, and he's got a girlfriend, whoever I don't care what he's doing up there. You know what he's doing? He's probably wondering why he made skunks. I think that's what he's doing right now. If there is a fucking Jesus and he's up there, he's like, God, why did I make skunks? He even calls himself God. He's like, God, why? He says it out loud to himself. He can't figure it out. You know what? Actually, bad smells in general. I think Jesus himself is like, why did I make bad smells, period? But then, why did I make an animal that the only thing it does is produce bad smells and a funny cartoon? That's it. Literally, skunks are Pepe Le Pew and a fucked up smell. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I'm sorry, that's a funny cartoon. Not enough to balance the horrible fucking smell in real life. I don't care how funny your cartoon is. It doesn't make me smell a skunk any better. God damn it. See him again. So he's up there right now. What if he was up there really every game? Because they do it at every game. You would think that, I mean, is he that fucking narcissistic that he needs it every fucking game? Even he's got to get tired of hearing it, doesn't he? That's more for us. That's more for the fucking people down here who are like, yay, we want God to like us. So let's stop our baseball game and have a guy in a hat sing to him. Fuck that. God is fine. He doesn't need your fucking ballad. Jesus Christ. Certainly not at every baseball game. If you want to do it in your car, you want to do it at your house, or you and your kids want to join hands before your fucking piece of shit dinner, go ahead and sing it out. I'm serious. I don't understand it. And you want to pray and all that. Good for you. I welcome it. Believe what you want to believe. That's great. But you know what? Recognize that somewhere in that ballpark, there's a guy who doesn't think that God should bless America, or he doesn't think there is a God, or maybe he doesn't believe in America. The guy doesn't believe in borders. That guy believes in an America without borders, and you're insulting him with that song, sir. You're insulting him, sir. Stand down. You with the hat, off the field. I don't need to see John Popper blowing a harmonica for fucking 8 minutes. Get off my field, traveler. Take your blues traveling off the fucking field. I don't want to hear God Bless America out of your fucking whistle. Jesus Christ, it drives me crazy. We're there to watch baseball. And you know, it all started with 9/11. 9/11 happened, so they were like, yay, let's all rally around this song. And good for them, and people need something to rally around, and that's fine. But then they kept it. It's because the World Series in 2001 was in New York. So after 9/11 happened in September, which was 9. Yeah, that's the 9, right? I'm all confused because, again, I did the German show earlier. There were so many 9s, I'm so lost. On the 15 minutes of the German show, the 9 meant something completely different. But now here I am with you, and I bring you the 9/11. Now that's what we need to remember. That's the number 9, and that's September. Number 9, number 9, number 9. So that's the September, right? So what happened was there was the big fucking 9/11 thing that happened in 9/11 of 2001, and then they had a World Series in New York. So they're like, woohoo, we're New York and strong. So then they sang God Bless America at every fucking 7th inning, or whatever, in the 7th inning stretch, which is fine. Okay, for that year they needed it. Everybody needed it. All right, it was like melodic heroin to get them through the fucking situation. Everybody needed God Bless America to be melodic heroin to get them through 9/11. That's fine. Good for you. But now we're fucking 12 years on. They just finished the building, the new building. I think that alone. All right, let's put it this way. That's my artificial barrier. That's my artificial ending point. They've finished the new building. Can we stop singing God Bless America at baseball games now? Because it is nothing but a chore. It is a chore. I don't need to see some fucking knockoff third-rate soap opera star or the guy from the Spin Doctors come out and dance his way through fucking God Bless America, because that's all it is. They're just digging up these motherfuckers. And you want to say Little Miss can't be wrong? No, Little Miss always wrong. Do not sing that fucking song. Look, this is America, and this is the land that I love. I will stand beside her, and I will guide her. All right. With the light and the thought from above, the light and the heart from above. I don't know. Where's the scoreboard? I need the scoreboard. That's another thing. The national anthem's ingrained in me. I've sung it since I was a kid. Because, all right, look, if we're going to widen this out, if we're going to widen out this argument, we don't need the fucking national anthem either, all right? Certainly not before a baseball game. But that's for us. That's I guess, an American thing. But again, God Bless America is all about Jesus, and there's no way he's looking down. What are you saying? You're moving your mouth. Are you talking to me or doing a puppet show?
No, I was just thinking about the words to the national anthem.
Yeah. Is there Jesus in there? I don't think so. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner, that's where I lose it. Yeah. Oh, say does yet wave. Yeah, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, fuck, Jesus isn't in that song. There's no, and so he's not even paying attention to that. Who's that song for? Nobody. Stop it. Let's all sing Camptown Races next time they want us to stand up and sing the national anthem. Something just as stupid. You know what I mean? That song's from like 1800, right? No, 1700. I don't know what it's from. That song was written in 1974. Oh, my Christ. That's when the national anthem happened. Richard Nixon commanded it. And then he got in a helicopter and he waved and he took off. Kicked his dog. Checkers. That's a history lesson for you folks. I don't understand God Bless America. Again, who is that for? It's not for Jesus. Because, again, we do it in every fucking game. Do you think he stops every time and just goes, Jesus, this again? And he has to take off his Jesus hat and look at the fucking flag or whatever he does? And is he even God? I don't remember. I don't want to have that argument with you folks. That's stupid. Again, we've talked about this. That's like arguing who's more real, Batman or Robin. All right. So, hey, folks, how are you? I've come back strong. I've come back very strong from the German debacle earlier. I'll tell you that. What if I did do the show in German, but it was a public affairs program? Like, literally, it was just There was nothing funny about it at all. And look, at least at this show, I try to be funny, and it might not be funny, but that's fine. But if I didn't try at all in the German show, and I wore like a black turtleneck, and that's all I did was I interview fucking leaders. Heather Merkel, is that her name? Who's Heather Merkel? No, Fred Merkel was the boner guy from baseball. That makes no sense to you at all. Hold on a second. Lily made a face like, I don't know what that means. Boners in baseball? By the way, it's my other podcast that I'm going to be starting very soon. Boners in baseball. I'm going to talk to porn stars about fantasy baseball. God damn it, I'm in. Boners in baseball. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, boners in baseball. See, it works. It just glides off the tongue. That'll be my Friday show. Because I got this show on Wednesday. I got the German version of this show on Thursdays. And, of course, we have boners in baseball on Friday.
Oh, my.
So Fred Merkel is a guy who ran the wrong way on the bases or something when he was in like the 1930s. And that's why it's known as Fred Merkel's boner. And that's why I said he's the boner baseball guy. But then I just said Heather Merkel or Helen Merkel is the prime minister of Germany. And you should see her boner. Holy macaroni. I don't even, that's the thing is I think I'm wrong on the name. But I'm close, right? I should be close. You're not even going to look it up. She literally, guys, I wish you could have seen it. She went to punch a button, and then she literally went, like that thing you do with your hands.
I'm like, so many things to try to look up and being dyslexic. I'm going to screw this
Yeah,
up
fuck all
somehow.
that. That's fine. But she literally just waved her hand like, whatever, at the camera.
What's to look up first? Prime Minister Merkel?
By the way, I said at the camera. I meant at the computer, at the laptop. We're not filming this, folks. Actually, we are. We're filming this for the video version of this, which airs on Mondays. Have you seen it? It's fantastic. It's funny in my email blast, whenever I put out, I go, you guys can download the show in iTunes, or you can listen to it live. I go, or you can check out the streaming version. And some guy wrote me, and he's like, oh my God, you do a live streaming version of the show? I got to tune in every week. And I'm like, no! Jesus Christ! We're lucky I get this version out. Sometimes I'll finish this version, I'll go home and take a shower, come back and have to do the German version. That's how long this takes. But no, I didn't mean, when I say live, because streaming means different things. Like, to me, if you go to my website and you go to the 40-Year-Old Boy page, you should be able to click play and it streams that week's episode, I think. I'll be honest, I haven't tried it in forever because ever since Farmer Ryan took over, he's the one who's supposed to be putting the new one up. And I don't know if he does or he doesn't. Farmer Ryan makes me laugh, like, because he kind of works for me, but he doesn't really work for me, because I'm nobody. But he'll do web stuff, and I've paid him in the past. I probably should owe him a lot more than he's worth. Or I'm sorry, I have not paid him what he's worth, I should say. Let's put it that way. But then he'll write me emails like as like a guy who's a fan of the show, which is always funny to me when I'll talk to him like a peer, but then he'll write me like, hey, great show this week. By the way, I just wanted to say, you don't need to return this, but I wanted to, and he's always got words of encouragement for me. And I feel, I mean, that's awesome, but at the same time, I feel bad, like almost like he feels like he needs to do that. And that's my own problem, folks. Whenever anybody tells me anything nice, I'm like, you don't have to say that. It's so stupid. I told you, I spent half my time talking to people out of not enjoying my show. Hey, you don't want to listen to that. It's a lot of yelling. Whenever I do a live show, people come up and they'll go, hey, this is my wife. She's never listened to you before. And I go, look, I apologize. It's a lot of yelling tonight. And then they're always very kind and they go, no, I enjoyed part of it. Goodbye. And they run away. And I can't blame them for that, folks. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just disappear into the ether when you're confronted by a monster like me? And by the way, I should talk about this really quick. Folks, remember last week I told you about the saga of Beaumont, Texas? Remember we talked about Long Gene Silver? And by the way, let me reach out to all of you fine folks who wrote me and said that Long Gene Silver is available on the web. Thank you so much for telling me that. I was not aware of that. People found her on torrents at the Pirate Bay and all that kind of bullshit. And they're like, hey, these Long Gene Silver clips are available if you'd like to see them. And the one guy's like, should I download them or not? I'm like, you heard me tell you, it's a woman stump fucking a dude. If that's... Why are you asking for my permission, weirdo? If that's what you want to see, then do it. Do you really need me to give you the go-ahead?
Oh my God.
Guess what, sir? Here's the high sign. Yes, you absolutely should download the woman stump fucking a dude in the ass. Go ahead. I think it's okay. I love the fact that he needs me an enabler. Yes. Fuck, if you want to see pirate fucking, then I say yo ho ho, download that bitch. Walk the plank and watch her put his stump in his stank.
Oh.
Her stump. His stump? I got a little lost there. But yeah, that made me laugh. People wrote me and they're like, "Do I really want to see this?" I don't know. You heard what it was. You know, let's put it this way. I didn't lie. If you want to, if you want to back up my story, if that's the thing, if you want to download it just to see if what I was saying was true, then go ahead by all means and download the fucking Long Gene Silver clip. But I love the fact that she exists. I guess there's like a Wikipedia page. People wrote me these things that, and look, I know she existed because I saw the clips. I saw the movie. I rented it. Okay, but what I mean is that she still exists in perpetuity on the web. And that fucking people immediately. That's what drives me crazy too. Is I need it. No matter what I say, I better be fucking sure that it's right. Because now, look, millions of you are googling Helen Merkel right now. As a matter of fact, I hope she's real. But yeah, people are good. I love that I talk about it, and then people immediately go to the web to try to find her. Oh my god, a pirate chick stump fucked a guy in the ass. I gotta Google that immediately. You are all on a watch list. Man. What was I going to say? Oh, so that's the whole point. Is I was talking about last week when I talked about Beaumont, Texas, and the trip, and we drove and all that. Well, I knew I was going to get in trouble for talking about that because I kind of went into that story and I didn't remember as much as that I should because I also got sidetracked by the pirate chick because that's kind of that's the dominant imagery for me from Beaumont, Texas, is a woman stump fucking a guy in the ass. All right, that's it. That's what I took away. But I mentioned volleyball and all. I should mention too, we had one of the best meals I've ever had in my life was at some Tex-Mex joint out there. Jesus Christ, it was so good. It was one of those me and Max and Davo and Jeff. Yes, I am. You know what this is? I am continuing last week's story. I have to because I was told that I forgot some stuff by our friend David Hernandez, and David unfortunately does not want to have his own podcast, which he should. You know what? That's what we'll do on Tuesdays. David and I will get together and talk about the shit that I forgot the previous Wednesday. I like this plan. What I meant to say was ... That's the name of that show. What I meant to say was ... You fuck. By year one. Is that year one or year two? When's that from, Lily? Lily doesn't know. Lily's done. She doesn't even want it. She turned in a resignation earlier, and I made her. I wouldn't accept it. So now she's still here. That's true. That didn't happen. I went to storm out of her apartment. She talked me out of leaving. All right, so we had that happen once before. Did I ever tell that story on here? I must have.
Oh no, but please do.
That was terrible. The night I stormed out of your house, and then you wouldn't let me back in your house. I talked about that on here.
You did.
By year two, yeah.
That was like 6 seasons ago.
Yeah, it's like 4 apartments.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
Right there.
Yep. So yeah, by year 3, 2, I think it is 2. Yeah, I almost stormed out. That's right around Green, Yellow, Red. I love that show. Green, Yellow, Red was a good show. Yeah, Green, Yellow, Red. Yeah. All right. So who cares? What was I talking about? Oh, so Dave, he tells me last week, because I told him what I talked about, and he was all excited, and then he listens to the show and he calls me back. He's like, "Yeah, you were wrong on like 4 different things. You forgot stuff too." And I'm like, "Uh-oh." So here's the thing. Remember when I talked about all the spooky people that came out of their sheds and watched us drive by and stared at us like the children of the corn? Arkansas. I thought it was in Louisiana. It was in Arkansas. Invalidates my whole anti-Louisiana premise from last week. So, Louisiana, you're back in my good graces. Arkansas, you're out. You can go Razorback yourself, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what that means. Just wanted to say it. You know why? Because right when I started to say it, I thought of my friend. I had a friend named Kelly Moran who was a comedian, and he used to do a joke about Arkansas, about why they're the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that was because 2 guys in the woods said, "Razorback!" And it was like a whole, they were raping her or whatever they were doing to her. And now Kelly is dead. But that's okay. I don't feel... He didn't die because of that joke. It wasn't like 2 rednecks from Arkansas got him and then we never saw him again. No, unfortunately he passed away. And but that's okay. I don't feel bad because he's a huge baseball fan, and I know he sits at God's knee when they sing "God Bless America" every day, and he just goes ahead and looks down because he sits on God's knee. Kelly was like 6'2" and probably about 200 pounds, but I don't care. God's a giant, and he'll put you on his knee like a puppet. All right, because that's what God does. And then he pets your head. He feeds you a peanut. He sends you off. You go get your wings and you go golfing with Bob Hope. I don't know what you do in heaven. That's all you do is you hang out with famous people, right? That's what I would do. Remember? What did I say I would do in heaven? I would fuck Pam Anderson and Ann Margaret.
That's right.
That's year 2, probably. I don't know. It's funny that I'm doing all this because our friend Adam, let me talk about this for a second, and remind me where we're at. I don't know where we're at. We're talking about Pam Anderson and fucking Anne Margaret. Our friend Adam Darium. I can't pronounce his name. You know what? It's so funny. I'm the man. Like I always think that I can pronounce stuff. And then I get challenged by people. They're like, "Ha, but you can't pronounce my name." And then I try to say it, and I like at the bank, I had a teller guy, and I said his name, and he was like, "I can't believe you said my name right." So that's always great. So it infuses me with false confidence. So then when I run into a name like Adam Duranium, I try to say it, and then it's like everybody's like, "Boo!" I don't know who's booing me. Just Adam, probably. But that happened to our friend Jill in Milwaukee, who I will get to in a minute. But remember her name, I said I could say her name, and I said her name was Jill Bublitz Charbuno. And that's wrong. That's like 9 different kinds of wrong. I got the Jill right, which was not bad, but everything else was just a train wreck of letters. Like I fucking ruined the whole thing. And she wrote me and she's like, "Ha, way to go. Not even close." And then she took away all of her donations. She didn't really. She thought about it. I'm sure she thought about it. She thinks about it every day. What if she did? What if she thought about it every day? I got to take my money away from that asshole. I got to send out a fucking hitman to go and take the rest of it. He fucked my name up once. No, she's a pleasant human being. All right, so anyway. So Adam, our friend Adam Duranium, I don't think there's an N in there. I think I'm putting a phantom N in Adam's name. Don't Google it. Adam Merkel. Our friend Adam Merkel. You remember him from Boners in Canada? Adam I met in Toronto. Good guy, came to the show. And Adam wrote me, and he said that he was doing a compilation. He didn't write me, all right? Here's another thing that makes me laugh. People post at the Westside 86 Jokers, the fan club page, and they commiserate with themselves. And they don't realize that I will go to that page, and I will read the stuff that's on the page. But they're talking to one another, and they talk about me as if I'm this mythical creature.
You are.
They're just like, "What do you think Mike thinks about that?" And I'm just like, "Well, you could ask me if you wanted." This weird stuff. You know what it is? You know what's funny? They're all in their own ballpark, and I'm God looking down at them as they sing "God Bless America." That's exactly what it is. I'm the guy I'm the invisible man. I'm the myth in the world of those people. I'm the myth who doesn't really exist, but then I show up and they're like, "Oh my God." So Adam wrote on the page that he had been making a compilation of all the times I said, "By year 1, by year 2, by year 3." And he said he was just doing it because he was getting into audio editing, and that was what he chose to do. And he wrote it all, and he made a chart. He made a fucking chart of it, and he put it on the Facebook page. So I saw it, and then I wrote in, and I go, "Hey, Adam, I wrote underneath it in a comment. I was like, "That's pretty cool. I would love to know when this is done." And he was like, "Oh my God, I thought you'd be mad. I don't know what to do." Because again, they're not used to me talking to them at all. They don't think I'm real. So he was just like, "Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, the second it's done, I'll let you know." And this has been happening. This happened once before. Our friends Leanna and Hannah were compiling a glossary of the show, where they were getting together all the terms and all the things that I'd said and the definitions, and that was in year 1, I think. And they wrote me that they were doing it. They were like compiling, and then I think they finally they went, "No, absolutely, we can't do this. All you do is talk, and you say dumb shit all the time. You can't expect us to constantly be listening to dumb shit that you say. That's ridiculous." They have jobs. Leanna has a job. Hannah has a job. They can't be doing these things. So, I mean, I will admit to a little disappointment because, I mean, anytime anybody offers to do some work for me, I'm all for it. Let's do it. What? You're going to compile a tool that I can use to market the show and I don't have to do a fucking thing? That's awesome. But then they backed out. And my favorite part about that is I know that on each of their computers somewhere, there's some half-assed version of a glossary of this show from year 1.5. And I know it's this lonely document that if you open it up, like the Microsoft Paperclip would come out and be like, "Do you want me to finally get rid of this bullshit?" And he'd wink and go away. I loved that dude. I love that dude. I love the Paperclip. Like, I think he's alive. Like, I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, when I had to work in an office and they didn't have Macs and they had fucking Windows things, everybody else, like, the first thing they do is they immediately go, "Hide the Paperclip, idiot." And I'm like, "Send all of your Paperclips to me. All your Paperclip belong to me." Because I would have them all come up and wink and chat with me. I'll talk to them. I will write them notes, and he will ask me what I want to do. Like, I wish he would ask me about me as a guy. Microsoft, if you're on that, find one of those Paperclips. But he doesn't just live in Word. He lives in your computer. So then, you know what he is? He's like fucking, he's like Kit Car. Like I remember on Knight Rider? How great would that be to just be like, you're like, "God, I'm sad. I'm going to go talk to my car for an hour." Yes! And it has a soothing William Daniels voice? That's fucking awesome. Just some disembodied voice that you can go confide in. That's what I want.
Oh my god.
Because then I'm not bothering real people. I'm talking to 5 paper clips. They sit there, they wink at me, they talk to me. That's perfect. That's a perfect plan. That's like Rosie the fucking robot on the Jetsons. You can do whatever you wanted to Rosie. She'd have to just fucking take it. She's a robot. Or a robot, as our friend Paul Goebel would say. All right. My point is I want a friend who won't leave, folks. I want someone who will come into my life and has to stay. Just beat free will out of them and make them stay with me. Will you please do that? I want 5 paper clips who know my name and want to hear about my day, goddammit. And if they could cook me something or clean up my house, that'd be great. I just want paper clips to be surrounding me with their love. All right, so. But that's a good idea for Microsoft. Just it's like a live Furby, but it knows about you. Like when you get your computer, you can put in all your information about you and what you do and who you are, and then the paperclip would know about you and like ask you questions and talk about the news. You know what? They had their Android phone in Detroit. Get this, all right? And they had set their alarm on their Android phone, and it went off. And their Android phone was like, it's whatever time, and it's cold outside, and here's the news. And it gave us like an announcement of the news, like you could hear it. And I'm like, why does it do that? And they were like, well, that's what it does. It gives you like the headlines. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Because then your phone's like your pal. And I'm like, I'm actually kind of jealous of that. A pal who's a phone and a phone who's a pal. That's right. I want a pal who's a phone and a phone who's a pal. Look, a phone who's a pal is one thing. And that's fine. You got a phone and it winds up being your friend. But if you had a pal who was a phone, how fucking great is that? All right. You just bend them forward and like punch their ears and their nose in sequence, and then you can talk into their mouth and you're talking to somebody. That's a pal who's a phone. All right. Why won't paperclips love me? So Adam says he's going to make this thing. He's going to make this fucking clip show. And I wrote him, and he's like, oh my god, I can't wait. And then he sent it to me, and he kept it private on YouTube. And he's like, here you go. So I saw it, and I didn't get a chance to watch the video. I just saw the email had come. So like 3 days went by, and I was getting ready to go to Detroit. Look, folks, my days are very busy right now. I don't know, because I black out the afternoon for sobbing. And, I'm awake all night on the internet doing so many important things. I could show you like a chart of all the shit that I do. You'd be like, oh, that's great. And when is the chocolate consumption? Well, it starts right here, and it goes to here. And when is the toast prepared? Right here and here. And how many yogurts will you eat in a day? This many. All right, so that's what my fridge is right now. My fridge has orange juice and Chobani yogurt. That's what I got. And water. And some pineapple. All right. Because I pretty much mowed through everything else that was in there. I bought pickled beets, and I have some flaxseed. Who cares what's in my fridge? Shut up! I need a paperclip to tell me when to shut up. That's what the show needs. If somehow my paperclip buddy he'd like fly up and he'd wink and he'd be like, you do realize you're running down the contents of your refrigerator for a national audience, right? I'd be like, yeah, that's a good point. You do realize you've just told a nationwide audience you have pickled beets, and they don't care at all. Thanks, Blinky the Clip. You've saved us all.
Oh my god.
What a dumbass. All right, so what else is in my fridge? So then, folks, I know I'm out of butter. All right, so it's more of a reminder for myself. When I listen to this show tomorrow, I'll know to go buy butter. I'll pick it up on the way here to do the German version. And we'll put it in your fridge. Oh, your glorious fridge. So, folks, Adam tells me that he has this thing that he wants me to check out. He sends me the clip, the link. And like I said, I've been very busy getting ready to go out of town and doing things. So I didn't get a chance to see it. But then after like the second day, I said, you should check this out. So I clicked on it, and it's like 6.5 minutes long. And it's just audio clips of me saying, yeah, really, buy your one. Like, and these weird out of context clips from the show of just me telling people what to do and buy stuff. And I'm like, this is funny, and it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, it makes me look like a huge dick. Like, I mean, it literally boils down the show to its essence, which is buy something. I mean, it's so. But it made me laugh. And it's a fucking crazy feat. I have no idea how, because he did it. He made this chart and he cataloged everything and he linked it all together. It's fucking amazing. I'm so happy he did it. So I'm going to tell you all to check it out. It's actually maybe I'll put it on my Facebook page because I didn't get to, because I never. This is the thing. I never wrote him to tell him what I thought of it because I only got to see part of it because I was packing, getting ready to go, and I got a phone call in the middle of it. And I had to stop it. But then, like, the next day, he threw it up for public consumption on the page. And I felt bad. Like, I thought maybe he thought I didn't endorse it because I didn't contact him. But I do. Absolutely. I thought it was great. And anytime a fan wants to do something like that, it's fucking awesome to me, and I love it. So so I will put the clip up on my Facebook page as well. But it's available at the right now, if you go to the fan club page. Fanbook. We should make Fanbook. Get Zuckerberg on the phone. You know what I'm going to make? Clipbook. It's going to be just a bunch of paper clips where your pals. You can fucking see what they're doing. Status. Holding paper together. That's awesome. That's the only status update that's available. Paperclip status. Holding paper together. Still. Glad you asked. All right. So I will put it up on my page, but it was awesome. It was like this, and it's just a bunch of me talking. And I don't know. Look, let's put it this way. I don't know if you're going to think it's awesome. All right. I think it's awesome because it's just me. So, I mean, I love to hear me talking all the time. That's fine. But you might listen to it and just go, hey, this is just a shorter version of your other stupidity that we hear. Yes. That's a win-win for everybody, including our friend Adam, who's probably hard at work right now putting together a clip show of Paperclips comments. So good. So good for Adam and good for that thing, and I'm glad he put it out there. And I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, Adam, to let you know what was what. But I did enjoy it, and I was happy that you did it. All right, where were we before I went into that? Before I spiraled off into that?
Oh, your pencil clip belonged to me.
Pencil clip? I don't think I ever said the word pencil. Why I?
Boners in baseball? I don't know.
I was in heaven.
I have no idea.
I think I was in heaven, if I remember correctly. With Ann Margaret and our friend Pam Anderson.
You were describing what's in your fridge.
What? Oh, was I? All right, let's continue with my fridge description. I know I have a clay pot with some garlic in it.
Oh my god.
I know that's in there, and some Cool Whip. What else is there? I don't know. All sorts of condiments. My wife loved condiments. I won't throw them away in case she wants them. She's going to come home and go, I need 5 different kinds of mustard. Still in there, hun. I wouldn't dream of betraying you and throwing them away. So, because I'm not a sauce guy, folks. You know that. So, Max is informing me of what I forgot on last week's trip. Last week's show, Arkansas, which I've already mentioned, and then the best meal ever was the 4 of us. It was me, Davo, Jeff, and Mex, and we went to some Tex-Mex joint, and we got in free because Mex's name was in the title, and we went ahead and ordered everything. I mean, I just. We ordered like 3 different appetizer platters, and we just went off. God damn it, we went off. And the food was so good. And it was like every plate was better than the next. It was just, I could have died there. I could have fucking Mr. Creosoted that whole fucking restaurant and just sat there like with a blown out rib cage. I didn't fucking care. We went off. And it was it was a nice Mexican joint. I don't think it was a chain. It was just some nice, it was good. It was good. God damn, it was good. And, you know, my palate is a little more refined these days. I might go back there now. It's a hunk of shit. I have no idea. But back then, it was great. Terrible. But I will tell you this. Here's another thing I forgot. We wound up meeting my buddy Davo's wife. She was not his wife at the time. Now, and if I remember correctly, she was just someone he knew. And they weren't even, I don't think they were dating at the time, but now they're married. But we got invited to some party. Which, by the way, if you're ever having a party anywhere in America, never invite more than 1 member of the UN of Evil to that party. I think I've cautioned all of you at this point. We will destroy your living room. I will put my head through a painting. Did I tell that story on here? I know I told it on Never Not Funny.
Oh yes, you did.
By year one of Never Not Funny. Or by year one here. Pete will show up and put a fucking muscle in your face and say, here's my fucking toga. We will wind up in your backyard throwing cherry tomatoes at your graduation party guests. Did I tell that story on here? No. We went to Marilyn Sapalo's graduation party. I swear to God I told it on here. Fuck, Galvin will tell me. I was at Marilyn Sapalo's graduation party. Marilyn Sapalo was a year younger than us. So it was like a 1985 graduation party. I don't even know what the fuck we were doing there. I have no idea. Marilyn Sapalo was hot. That could be it, yeah. Maybe we were invited because David's wife was no, she was class of 86. Marilyn was class of 85. I don't know what the fuck we were doing there. All I know is it was like a family party. Like it was, not just friends, but there was a bunch of family people there. And they had a bunch of food out. But they had a salad table, like a crudité table. And it was like relish trays and celery and bullshit. So me and Wojcik, we like grabbed cherry tomatoes and we lined up. We got across from each other, across from the party, and we started bombing each other with fucking cherry tomatoes from across the party, like through family members and friends. We just started throwing cherry tomatoes at one another, like in stealth, not like a fucking howitzer blast. Like we were sneaking around and hiding behind a pole, and then you'd emerge from the pole and throw a fucking cherry tomato across the party and blast somebody in the fucking head with it. What a bunch of jagoffs. Do not invite more than one member of the UN of Evil to your party. Because if you invite one of us, that's fine. David will show up. He's very pleasant. Woj will show up. He's a good guy. He's the father of 4 now. Jimmy O's a great guy. He'll come in and have some fun. Evil Dennis. Even Evil Dennis can take the evil off for a while and enjoy your party by himself. But if you combine us, it's terrible. We're like the Mandarin's power rings. Individually, they do nothing. Put the 5 of them together, holy shit, worldwide destruction. That might not be true. I don't know anything about the Mandarin's power rings. However, still. But I can't think of an analogy now where there's 5 things that don't mean anything, and then you put them all together, and it's terrible. Against Voltron. We're the Voltron of evil. Because individual Voltrons do nothing. You can kick the shit out of them. But then the other Voltrons show up, and oh my god, they turn into a giant cherry tomato throwing robot. Nobody wants that. God, was Woj banging Marilyn Sapalo? I don't remember. I don't know. All I know, we were there for some reason, and we wound up throwing fucking tomatoes. Jesus Christ, it was hysterical. Oh man, see, just don't combine us. Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the UN of Evil streams. We'll show up at your party, and Darren Chisholm will punch somebody in the face. That's what's gonna happen. God, all of our stories are at parties. And don't ever have a party. I had parties with the UN of Evil. That's bad. Fucking Mex and Woj staged a fight in my backyard once. And I think they actually put ketchup on their heads. So I had to go try to break it up, and then the cops came. Oh, terrible. It's a long story.
Oh my god.
Did I tell that story in here? I might not have. That was when Jeff was banging Kim Whittler at the time. I probably shouldn't say her full name. All right, never mind. Well, it doesn't matter. That's not her name now. All right, good. So, what the fuck? But there was a point to this. There was a point to this story.
No, you veered off on the cherry tomatoes, but you were talking about the Arkansas story.
Oh, all right. So we got invited to a party, in Texas, because they weren't aware of the non-multiple members of the UN of Evil rule. They had no idea. And also because Davo was like the sweetest guy in the world, so they figured probably Davo could take the edge, and he's not going to invite animals into their party. We're like vampires. Literally. If we're outside of your house and you invite us in, you're fucked. So we went to this party, and it was just, this is going to sound terrible, but I'm sure it's not going to be a surprise to you. We just hate everybody, like right away. We decide. And the thing is, who's not like that anymore? Jeff. Like, Jeff is a normal person. But me and Woj, Woj might not be the same way either. It might just be me and Mex that are just misfits now. Well, you know what? Evil Dennis is the same way. Dennis is pretty bad too, where he'll just show, but Dennis just shows up, and he doesn't, let's put it this way, Dennis doesn't actively hate people. Dennis is just a jagoff from the jump, and then they kind of hate him. And then he's like, oh, well, these guys hate me. Well, let's go ahead and hate them back, like that kind of thing. But Mex and I are just fucking misanthropes. So we'll show up at a thing, and inevitably, He's walking around looking to find a guitar he can strum for a fucking hour and avoid everybody. And I just want to go watch a game or stay away from everyone. I just don't, we don't play well with others, me and Dave. Maybe that's why everything we do together is so good, because nobody's bothering us and we're not bothering anybody else. We can channel all of our destructive energies into a guitar and a microphone and done. Because you hear me. Do you want me at your party? No. You hear this? Nobody wants this at their party. No, you want to hear me at somebody else's party and find out what happened later. Everybody out there is like, no, you can't come to my party, but please go to everybody else's party and then tell us about what happened. Because I guarantee some drapes got broke, or a curtain rod got fucked up, or a lamp got finished, or a kid disappeared. Or you headbutted a pool table and almost fucking passed out. I told that on here, right? Yeah, I did tell that. We went through a thing where we were headbutting all the time because the 85 Bears. The 85 Bears used to headbutt constantly. So then we started headbutting when we'd go out. Me and Ock and Jimmy O and all the guys. Yeah, we're dumb. But we would headbutt like inanimate objects. Like I headbutted one time. We were in a basement partying somewhere, and I headbutted the metal pole, one of the poles, and it made that pong noise, and I was just like, yeah, and we're all fucking idiots. But then at one point I headbutted a pool table hard. I was leaning over it and I smashed my head into it like bam, and I looked up and I started to pass out. Like my eyes started to go to pinholes. I was losing the light, and I white knuckled the fucking pool table. I go, do not pass out. Don't. Like I wheeled it, and then I stopped, and then I backed out. I was like, all right, okay, good. I was fine. Yeah, we did dumb shit. Do not invite the UN of evil to your parties. Because inevitably, Pete will show up in the bathroom and he will punch an air, like the hand dryer off the wall, and a stripper will wind up pulling a million scarves out of herself, and then one of us will talk about getting her to blow all of us. That'll happen. Oh, man. So, we went to this party in Beaumont, Texas, and we just decided we didn't like anybody. It was just kind of the gist of it. And here, you know what's funny? It was like, it's the dumbest things too that do it. Like a guy had his collar popped. So immediately he and his friends were douchebags, and we hated them, wanted them to fucking we wanted to fight them. Like it was so stupid. But we didn't really. All right, let's put it this way. When I say me, Jeff, and Mex wanted to fight them, I don't think Jeff and Mex really wanted to fight them. I think I may have wanted to fight them, and they were just like, yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, but we just hated these guys. We just immediately decided to hate them. And they had like sandals. And you're a grown man. Wear a shoe. Fuck you. We hated it. So, but we got along very well with this girl, and then it turned out she had a cousin or a sister who was a Miss Tecate, the beer. She was on a poster on the wall, and then she emerged, like literally almost walked out of the poster, and was drop dead fucking beautiful. I mean, she was as beautiful as that food was good at the Tex-Mex joint. Jesus Christ. And there was, a bunch of other hot girls there. It was fine, but we were just not, we didn't belong there. We did. We just chose not to belong there. And I don't even know how it happened, but there was like a thing, and we were celebrating, or something happened, and we were playing a game. I don't even know what the fuck it was, but there was high fives going on, and then there was chest bumping, like, like crazy. You know, you chest bump somebody, like, yeah. Well, these dudes were all doing that. That was like their thing, like our headbutting. They were chest bumping, and they were chest bumping, like, yeah. And the one dude with the pop collar turned around to Jeff, my buddy Jeff, and Jeff goes, yeah, and fucking chest bumped him, and the guy went down. Like he blasted him because they're all like, yeah, and Jeff just he sailed into the dude and blasted him, just put him right on his ass. And the best part, all right, full party, we don't know anybody. We know fuck all besides this girl and her and Dave. That's all we know. We've met everybody and we're kind of hanging out, but they don't know us at all. So Jeff buries this guy with a chest bump and lays him out on the ground, and because he was in the air, and he lands like over him, and he goes, and he poses over him and does muscles like, yeah. The fucking pose down. He was like, yeah, just fucking posed over the guy like, yeah, that's right. These people looked around like, who the fuck are these guys? Yeah, that's 3/7 of the UN of evil. And don't push it because we'll shine the jag-off signal into the sky. And Jimmy O, Evil Dennis, Ock, and Woj will be on the next fucking plane. Fucking pose down. Did a pose down over that dude. I wonder if they tell those stories. You know, that's my favorite part of my stories is to think of the other side. And if those people tell those stories, one time we had a party. I don't know, this is a while ago. And these dudes showed up from Chicago. We had no idea who the fuck they were. They were misfits the entire night. And, you know, we were having fun. My friends and I were goofing around, and we were doing this chest bump thing that we used to do. It was really silly. And this one guy comes out of the rafters, lays me the fuck out, put my collar right down, and then he has the fucking nerve to go Franco Columbo over me in my own goddamn foyer. Everybody's like, those guys sound like assholes. Yes, they do. That's the UN of evil, ladies and gentlemen. Marilyn Zapalo's probably 40. Sits with her family. Oh, what a lovely high school graduation you had. You know what? I got to talk to you about something, Marilyn. I never mentioned this before because I didn't want to cloud what was obviously a momentous occasion in your life. But remember that party in your backyard for your graduation? I do. Somebody knocked my tooth out with a fucking tomato. And I still don't know who it was to this day. I want film. I want film from these events. And you just see the shadowy fucking... It's like in Signs. When the aliens are just constantly lurking in the shadows. The UN of Evil is always lurking in the shadows to fuck things up. Any party at all, anything that happens, it's just, oh, look at this lovely time. And you just see these misfits in the corner and a tomato goes flying by. Because the jag-off signal was shined into the air. Oh, dude, the opposite of these stories is great. Oh, man, I used to paint houses when I was a kid. I painted houses in the summer. I had a friend of mine. Well, this guy, Dennis, he was a nice guy. Although one time we had a party at our house. And Dennis brought his friends over. It was a toga party. It was harmless. It was fun. The next thing you know, my couch is on the porch. Some asshole's got his head through my painting. That's the UN of Evil. I've heard of them. Oh, Christ. I love the opposite side of the story. That's got to be fantastic. All right. So Max is like, did you talk about the pose down? Dude, I completely forgot about the pose down. I got sidetracked by the pirate stump fucking a dude. And the best part is, the pose down's infinitely funnier than this fucking pirate stump fucking a dude, right? Because the pose down really happened. The fucking stump fuck, that's on celluloid. That's film. That's nothing. Who cares? I paid for the privilege of seeing that. But goddammit, I lived a guy getting chest bumped and the pose down over him in his own goddamn den. You did it! You did! Yeah! Who wants a piece? That's a fucking Chicago Pollock in your grill. You did! By the way, now, lovely father of two. Beautiful wife, wonderful home. But back then, fucking pose down here. All right. Meanwhile, at the UN of Evil. All right. So, anyway. So I had to finish last week's thing. Well, I guess I did. Also, I should tell you this. Max reminded me that I might have driven 20 minutes. I don't know what I said last week. I drove an hour. Jeff's like, no, you drove 20 minutes. He goes, you were like this big shot road comic, and all you did was drive all over the place. So you were like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to do this trip. You drove 20 minutes, and then you bailed. You were like scared or something. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I said that. He goes, no, you didn't properly humiliate yourself enough on the show. You made it sound like you drove for an hour and you were like, maybe I won't drive. No, bullshit. He goes, you were like almost cried. I go, I didn't almost cry. He goes, well, something, because you fucking just bailed and you dumped it in our lap. And also Mex and he drove a lot more than he said. Because I mean, on the way home, Jeff drove a ton. He drove the whole way. But on the way down, Mex and Jeff basically split the driving, I think. I'm going to get yelled at again. I don't know. I got to run my shit past Mex. Any story that Dave's involved in, he's going to be like, no, this is how it really happened. So again, that's what we'll cover on Tuesdays. So, and also he goes, and just think of this sentence for just a second. This is what he said. He goes, "Did you tell him about fuck Tony Danza? I'm the boss." I was like, you know what? I completely forgot about that. Oh, and Frenchie. He goes, "Did you tell him about Frenchie?" Again, he remembered all this shit. I go, "No, I didn't remember it at all." On the drive down, because we were driving in Louisiana and stuff, and it was Cajun country. Mex invented a character named Frenchie. And so for the entire time we were in Louisiana, all he would go is he would talk in like this fake Cajun voice, and we pretended we understood him no matter what he said. In the car, in the truck stop, it didn't matter. We pretended we understood what he was saying when he would talk like Frenchie. And then, so Frenchie was in the car. And also, that was where we invented, holy shit, I forgot about, you know what, I remember something you don't remember, David. First, here's the thing Dave remembered. Fuck Tony Danza, I'm the boss. This was a stupid thing where there was a song by the Fushnikins with Shaquille O'Neal. It was that I'm a true Fushnik. I think, I'm a what? I'm a true Fushnik. And there's a line where Shaquille O'Neal goes, fuck Tony Danza, I'm the boss.
Oh my God.
It's a rap. It's a line in a rap song. So we made it like an exclamation. Like if you were to say, God damn it. Fuck Tony Danza, I'm the boss. And then we were driving, and we kept coming up with different dudes. Like, you know, fuck Mike Ditka, I'm the boss. And we just, for hours. Fuck Lily Von Stupp, I'm the boss. Like, we just, for no reason. We would just keep saying it because it made us laugh to think of the most obscure person you could possibly think of and put them in there. Fuck Indiana Jones, I'm the boss. And it just made us laugh. We did it for, again, you're killing time because you're driving for hours and hours. Well, I wasn't driving, I was riding. But also... on that trip, I forget. Here's something else that David did not remember that I remember. We invented this thing where we came up, and this was actually a genesis for one of the bits that we wound up writing later for this show. We because Elvis turned down the movie A Star Is Born. Did you know that? He was supposed to be the Chris Christopherson part. Barbra Streisand wanted him to be in it. So for like 4 hours, we kept inventing other movies from the 70s that Elvis had turned down. And what those movies would have been like if Elvis had been in them. So it was always, hey, did you know Elvis turned down Jaws? Yeah. Say, man, I think you're going to need a bigger boat, man. And that was all we would just do that, and it would just make us fucking laugh constantly. Did you know Elvis turned down Rocky Horror? Yeah. Say, man, how do you do, man? I see you've met my faithful handyman. He's a little brought down, man, because when you knocked, he thought you were the Candyman. So anyway, and we were constantly doing Elvis turning down roles in movies, in Close Encounters. I mean, it just Star Wars. Say, man, these are not the droids you're looking for. I mean, just like doing all of this stupid shit and laughing. Again, it was just a great trip because it was the last time. I think it was the last time before David got married. Is that what it was? I don't remember, but it was that sort of like the last trip of freedom. So, you know, and David also, he wanted to fuck a girl in every state to and from Texas. So, wait, I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't true. He's gonna go, that didn't happen. Yeah, that didn't happen. No, it truly didn't happen. I mean, I would have. Fuck. Are you kidding me? I want to make that drive now. What? Maybe I do that? Maybe we take the show on the road? There we go. Oh my God, I have Fridays. No, what day do I have free? Mondays? Yeah, Monday's free. That'll be the new podcast. Although the problem is I can only drive like 20 minutes, then I have to stop. I got to find some chick to fuck in that first 20 minutes or that podcast goes nowhere. We've already established I can't be driving that much longer.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I don't think that's that far weighing on my mind at this point. Never mind. All right, so seriously, I went back to the gym. Did I tell you this story? I went to go to the gym. All right, let's recap. Let's talk about something. Hold on. Was there anything I was supposed to talk about before I spun back off into Beaumont? I'm not sure. Had I started?
Everything you forgot in the story, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. David will tell me. We'll see if I did or I didn't. And I got to hustle this up. We got to get our Powerball tickets, right?
442, yeah.
Oh, I got plenty of time. All right, yeah, because we got to win. We got to win. We got to do that. Lily and I are winning the Powerball.
I got $2.
And are you? Have we established yet? Are you taking care of me if I win the if you win the Powerball, or am I taking care of you if I win? How's that working? Have we got a split yet that we figured out? All right, I don't know if we're a team on this. Are we a team? You're shaking your head no, and that's disconcerting because I need we need to team up here against the Powerball. I need a group. No, like people. You know what? When people at work when they buy a ticket and they throw in together and they all split it, that's what we'll do. We're together at work, so we'll go ahead and team up. Man, you're freezing me out. You know what? I get the feeling you want to win just so you can get rid of me. That'd suck.
No.
You're going to win the Powerball just to fucking give me the shoulder.
Punch media and firing you.
I'm sorry? Well, actually, that's fine. I'll negotiate that. I got no problem with that. Dilapidated headquarters with a screen door hanging off of its fucking hinges. Possums going in and out, for fuck's sake. You can have throat punch media. It's going nowhere. I would. That's a coup d'etat. I would not mind cooing. That's fine. Do it. Get me out.
I'm investing in a better studio.
Oh, good. Good for you. All right. Invest in a better host.
Nah.
Yeah, no. I think you should. All right. So, yeah, we got to get Powerball tickets. We got to do that. That's big because that's what it's all predicated on now, folks. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to win the Powerball, and I'm going to have a party to celebrate with nothing but cherry tomatoes on the tables. It's going to be fucking fantastic. So... 360 million, yes, 360 million. If I win that 360 million, I will spend $1 million a day for a year.
That would not be smart.
I don't care. I'm Brewster's Millions the shit out of it. That's what I'm going to do. If I win it, I'm going to totally Brewster's Millions.
And then you're going to be right here in a year.
Good. Imagine the stories. Holy shit. That's all I want to do is win the Powerball, to fuck around for a year and lose all the money and then come back here and just go, guys, you're not going to believe what happened to me.
Oh my god.
I can't even imagine what $1 million of cherry tomatoes looks like. I'd be too tired to throw all that, probably. I mean, I would try. Woj and I would try. So what was I just gonna say? I was gonna say something, right? What were we talking about? Got a good Powerball.
We were talking about...
Folks, I don't mean to dump this in your lap.
Forgot.
Yeah, see, me too. That's the thing. Should we go back and check?
Well, no, you were saying, is there anything I forgot? No, now I can talk about... And then we gotta... Shit!
Yeah, see, there was something. I was going somewhere. I had some line on something that I was going to talk about.
What was in your fridge?
Ah, there you go, folks. Listen to me. I have a pomegranate salad dressing that I just bought. And I have another salad dressing that I purchased. It actually wasn't bad. I liked it. But I have tons of Chobani. Oh, you know what's a good Chobani? Pear Chobani yogurt. And, fuck strawberry, banana, and strawberry and your regular flavors. Bullshit. You got to go apples and cinnamon. You got to go blueberry. You got to go pineapple. You got to go pear. You got to go mango. You got to go blood orange. You got to go pomegranate. Done. Yeah, quit shaking your head. I'm right. Chobani's awesome. I eat 2 of those a day. Sad. I don't really eat 2 of those. I eat whatever I want. Look, I do whatever I want, folks. I'm a grown-up. And if a grown-up wants to eat 8 yogurts a day, he can, for fuck's sake, all right? Yes, I'm lactose intolerant. No, I don't like what it does to me, but I don't care. I'm a grown-up. I'll do whatever I want. I'll eat 8 yogurts and then trap myself in a hot box and not leave. And hire 2 Guatemalans to come in and clean up after me. That's how it works. Because I'm a grown-up. That's what grown-ups do. Grown-ups use their inside voice whenever they'd like. Maybe I'm tired of yelling. Maybe I'm tired of going ahead and projecting. Maybe I whisper now. Get inside. Get in close. Put your face right up to your iPod vagina and listen. This is funny because Lily doesn't know what I'm saying right now because she doesn't have headphones in, so she can't hear exactly what I'm saying. Oh, you can? All right, then it's a waste. I thought I was being a sneaky grown-up. I was getting away with saying things. Lily's my best friend. All right, see? See, she didn't hear that. That's ridiculous. Lily's my only friend. All right, so. Hey, the gym! I just yelled that at the top of my lungs because I just thought of it. That's what I was talking about, right? See, we were all over the place. Now I can stop whispering to fill time. Actually, though, my story about the gym was about me whispering. So, folks, if you'll recall, last year 5 of this podcast, episode 1, Think back to the artwork where it was half a fat me and holding a sausage with a marshmallow on my ear, and then half of a trim me, a good-looking me, and in shape me. Well, I remember I made a goal. I'm like, I'm going to be a monster at the end of this year. And it turns out I was a monster about halfway through, and my wife bailed. So, had nothing to do with going to the gym. So actually, the first episode of the year, I proclaimed what I was going to do. That was my goal for the year. My goal was to just get in a monstrous fighting shape, just look amazing, and really feel good about myself. And to do so, if you recall, I signed up with a gym that I was going to do some stuff, and then it turned out the guy took a phone call in the middle of my training session, and I'm like, I can't go to this gym. So I went back to my old gym, which was a Bally's, but is now an LA Fitness. And I went to sign up with them because I had done personal training with them before with my good friend, Richard. Who, by the way, someone who listens to the show speculated Richard was like my Tyler Durden. And it was actually a really funny theory. Like, he was like, whenever any good things happen, it was like that Richard was there, and he was there, and then all of a sudden all the bad stuff happened and Richard was gone. It was like this, and it was really well thought out. But I can assure you that Richard is real. Let's bring him out. That was the new podcast, me and my ex-trainer. All right, that's Sundays. We can do that on Sundays. Call it Shapes of Things. We already have the theme song. You don't know the song Shapes of Things? Shapes of things before my eyes. Fucking amazing. Gary Moore does an amazing version of it, live version. God damn, it's awesome. Gary Moore is beautiful. Then he played blues, and he can play blues, and that's fine. Good for you, Gary, although he's dead now. He and Phil Lynott are up in heaven watching people sing at ballparks. Why do I assume everybody went to heaven? Kelly Moran could be in hell if there is such a thing. Phil Lynott and Gary Moore could be in hell. One of them could be in hell, one of them could be in heaven. They could both be in purgatory. They could be doing whatever they wanted. They could be stuck in some fucking fifth dimension party, getting pelted with cherry tomatoes, ghostly cherry tomatoes. All right. With the rest of this Apollo family, who's to say her family's not in hell? I don't even know if she's alive. She could be dead. What if she's in hell? Let's bring her out. All right, so sometimes you folks regret the fact that I don't have a filter, right? You probably, the fact that anything that comes into my head gets spit out into this microphone, you got to be at some point just go, all right, enough. So that was the plan, was I was going to train. And I went to LA Fitness to go meet my friend Richard, and Richard had been promoted. And he told me, he goes, I don't train anybody really anymore, but if you sign up, I will do my best to train you. Because he was the main guy I trusted, and he was the guy I made a lot of progress with, and I really liked working with him. So if you recall, I made a very large commitment, and I bought a lot of training sessions last year. How many, you ask? 100. I think it was 100. And might have been more. It was like 120. I don't know. All I know is it cost me like $2,700. A lot of dough. So I bought all that. And then, you may recall, the rest of the year got weird. I wound up losing a job and all sorts of different things. And look, yeah, I lost the job in November and I signed up for this in April. That's fine. I get that. But I was still having trouble wrapping, because you have to be fully committed. Here's the thing. You can't go train and then come home and eat chocolate bars. Like, you've got to make sure that you've dedicated yourself to doing this the right way. Otherwise, you're just pissing away money and you're fucking around with time and you're just being stupid. If you're going to do this, do it. If you're not going to do it, then shut the fuck up and realize that you're a goddamn failure. Well, I was intent on doing it when I signed up. But then, you got to get your head fixed. Because I was going to fix my body, but the thing is, I got to get my head fixed. I got a fat head still. So I got to get my head straightened out. I got to fucking make my head join the French Foreign Legion and have Frenchie order it around and straighten it the fuck out. So, my head never got right. All right, I could not cool hand Luke my head. And so me and Dragline were in a church, and then we got fucking busted again. That's what happened.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm going sub deep references here. However, I can still eat 50 eggs. All right, so guess what? So I didn't use the training. I didn't train. And then November, the job, and then other things happened. And I was, things happen at home. And things were always happening at home. But then finally that culminated in something. Whatever the fuck. I'm alone now. And now I decided, you know what? I'm alone, and I'm 45. And I better get fuckable again. I mean, like, I got to do something to fix that. I need to go ahead and get fuckable again because now, hey, you guys remember that person that I hired to fuck me until I died? Yeah, they quit. So now I don't know what to do except to use my training. I can go ahead and do that. When I say use my training, I sound like Luke Skywalker, for fuck's sake. I have to use my training. You know what Yoda said? Once again, fuckable you will be. That was a terrible Yoda. Once again, fuckable you will be. All right. They're bringing those movies back. Maybe I make a call. Look at that. I sounded just like him.
Oh man.
So I needed to call the gym and get ready to start training again because, again, the Rocky theme is going off. So I was going to text Richard. I had great intentions. And like I said, I'm like, well, you know what? I got Detroit coming up. I'll figure this all out. And then I got an email from the gym. And they would do that periodically where they'd send me reminders. They'd be like, hey, man, don't forget about your training. Come on in and train. Let's build a better you, and let's all have a good time at LA Fitness. Well, this time I opened up the email and it said, Michael Schmidt, this is just a letter to inform you that your personal training has expired. We thank you for your purchase. And I look at the dates, and it said I had a year to use the sessions. And I lost it. Like, I was staring, and I'm like, because again, I was just coming around to the fact that I'm like, you know what, fuck, you have nothing better to do. You have to fucking get your life under control. This is where you can start. You can start by doing this. And then also you add in the fact that it was $2,700, and I'm like staring at it. I'm like, you're fucking joking. You're joking. I was so fucking mad. Mad at myself for not using it, but also pissed at them. Like, and again, in my head, how do you take that away? Like, what an arbitrary thing. I have a year to use it. I paid. I should be able to use it for all eternity. And this is the thing. When I did it with Bally's before, there was never any arbitrary endpoint. It was like I just did them, but then again, I was using them really quickly because I was doing it 3 times a week with Richard. So it was like they were getting eaten up, and then I'd renew them and all that kind of stuff. But to buy them and then just have them go away, that just makes no sense. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to have a fight. I mean, we're going to have a really big fight, and it's going to be bad. I mean, you know, at least if I don't get any training, I'm at least going to get one full afternoon of beating the shit out of everybody at the gym before they take me away to fucking jail. Because I can't believe you're doing this. And it's funny, I mentioned it to Lily, and Lily's like, well, they can't do that. It's like a gift certificate. Those don't go bad in California. And I had been told that before. I'm like, oh, okay. So the next day was when I was going to go to the gym. This is a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I was going to make the scene and go talk. So I texted Richard. I'm like, Richard, hey man, I want to schedule training sessions, but I'm seeing that they just sent me an email that tells me that I don't have them anymore. And he goes, yeah, you had a year to use those. That's the rules for LA Fitness. And I said, well, look, I'm not trying to get money back or anything like that, but I don't think that makes any sense. And he goes, well, the head of the gym is this guy now, the general manager. You should probably go talk to him. He's a good guy. Maybe he can help you out, but I can't. I got transferred. And he's managing a club somewhere else. Like, he's not even at that club anymore. So now my one ally is gone. And I was furious. So the next morning I was going to go to the gym. But before I did, I called the Better Business Bureau. Well, first I called the LA County, I don't know what the fuck. And I said, hey, look, I have a question about gym memberships because I Googled it. And he's like, yeah. He goes, you probably want to talk to the Better Business Bureau, but right now I don't know what to tell you. I said, well, they told me, I have friends who say it's like gift certificates that never go bad. He goes, well, that's not true. Gift certificates do go bad. I said, really? He goes, yeah, they do expire in California. He goes, people will think that they don't, but gift cards do expire. He goes, here's the way they'll do it. They'll justify it by saying, well, because you didn't use it, we took $10 a month off as a usage fee, and then eventually your value is eroded. I was like, ooh, that's bad. So I wound up calling the Better Business Bureau, and for some reason, I called the California Better Business Bureau, and they connected me to Jerry Seinfeld's mom on the sitcom. Like, this crazy New Yorker, just blustery, how you doing, hon? Can I help you? Yeah, it's the Better Business Bureau. Like that kind of voice. And I immediately felt comforted. Like she was like verbal chicken soup, where I was like, all right, I can calm down. Everything's going to be fine. And I explained everything to her, and she told me, she's like, oh, that doesn't sound right, hon. That doesn't sound right. She goes, you should definitely talk to them about it. But I can tell you that they will, gift cards do expire and gift certificates do expire. But what you got to do is you got to hope that they're going to be okay. You can take them to small claims court. And I'm like, well, I don't want the money back. All I want to do is go in and train. She goes, well, that works out for you because you can probably go and ask them for the help, and they could probably help you out. But I don't know. You got to hope that you get a good person there because otherwise you're going to have to go to small claims. And I'm just sitting there furious, not at them, at myself, that I'm even in this fucking position. So I got in my car, and I went to the gym. And I was ready for a fucking brawl. Like I was waiting. And I also had all of my fucking, I was going to spill my guts and go, listen, I lost my job. This happened. And I didn't get, I got caught up. And I walk in and I met the guy. I won't give his name, but I asked for him. He was right there and he shook my hand. And I go, hey, I have a question, man. I bought some personal training sessions. I apologize. I go, look, I got to talk to you. And he goes, okay, what about? And I go, we should probably go somewhere else. Because we were in the front of the gym and I didn't want to see people. I didn't want people coming in to do sit-ups, see me cry. I didn't want someone who was coming in to do some goddamn crunches on a Bozu ball to see me sobbing in the goddamn foyer. So he took me to an empty office. He's like, what's the problem? And I said, well, here's the thing. And about a year ago, I bought some training sessions, and I never got to use them. And unfortunately, some things happened where I lost my job, and da-da-da. And he's just nodding. And I said, so I got an email from you guys telling me they expired. And that doesn't seem right. I mean, I gave you the money. I don't want the money back. I want the sessions. I mean, I really want to come in and start training, but they're telling me they're expired, and it doesn't make any sense. If I gave you the money, shouldn't I have them in perpetuity? Shouldn't I own those sessions until I use them? Why would they expire? Have you stopped training people here at the gym? And then I'm like now I'm getting mad and heated a little bit, and I'm like creating a fight. And I finally take a breath, and he goes, hold on. He goes, so you paid already? I said, yeah, I paid last year. And he goes, well, I'll just reschedule them for you. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, let's go. And he punches me up on the computer. He goes, yeah. He goes, you're a member in good standing. And he goes, boy, he goes, you pay that much a month? How long have you been a member? I said, since 2003. And he goes, that's amazing. He goes, people pay like 4 times that a month. He goes, no. He goes, yeah, let me do this. And he pushes like 8 buttons. And he goes, all right, it'll be 10 days. And then you can start training. And I'm like, really? I totally wanted to fight you, dude. And he's like, you don't have to fight me. We're fine. It's okay. And I go, oh, all right, cool. All right, that's fine. And then I just want to run away because I got what I wanted. And I want to get the fuck out of there before they revoke it and take it back. And he's like, yeah, here's the name of the trainers that I recommend. And he wrote their names down. He goes, come back in 10 days and I'll talk to you and I'll introduce you to them and you see who you like best. And you just start doing it, man. That'll be great. We want to get you back in here. And I couldn't believe it because normally everybody's a jag-off, right? But he was so friendly and cool. And so there you go. That's that. So Look, I'm not going to make any weird proclamations that I'm going to be an animal or I'm going to turn it around or get in good shape or anything, but that's my plan because what else am I doing besides sitting around my house and doing fucking nothing? Honestly. You know what? Hey, you know what? I swear to God, this is true. I tape Kojak every night, right? And I will get up in the morning and I'll watch which Kojak it is. And if it's a particularly good one that I remember from before, I'll rewatch it. But I've stopped watching. I don't watch reruns of Kojak, all right? I'm not that involved. Although I guess they are really all reruns of Kojak, considering he was on in 1973. But for me, hey, if it's new to me, remember that? Must-see TV if it's new to you or summer bullshit and NBC, whatever the fuck. But I guess what? Guess what else I started taping? I think did I mention it on here already? Dragnet.
Oh, Jesus.
And Adam 12.
Oh, my.
The same channel that plays Kojak plays Dragnet and Adam 12 back to back at 4 and 4:30 in the afternoon. It's so goddamn good. I love Dragnet. I've loved it my whole life. It's just fucking ridiculous, but I don't care. I love it. So now, there you go. That's my day. I tape Dragnet and Adam 12. I got some Kojak that I tape. I watch playoff hockey. And I watch Unwrapped. Because I like to see the factory that makes pasta. Because I'm a child. They tell you that kids will watch like highway construction forever. If you show me a factory where they're making food, I will watch it forever. I don't care. Here at the Little Debbie factory in Springfield, Missouri, done. I'm in. Pull it. I hope it's on for 4 hours. Make those oatmeal cream pies, Debbie. I must see it happen. So that's it. That's my life. I'll watch 4 hours of oatmeal cream pies getting made. I'll watch Kojak. I'll watch Dragnet. I'll watch Adam 12. I'll go lift. I'll go do some cardio. Wednesdays, I'll record this show. Thursdays, the German version. Fridays is, which Friday? I don't know. Me and Max record on Tuesday, right? I don't even fucking remember. I got to get a fucking pie chart or a graph. Hey, Adam. Adam in Canada, you're good at making graphs. Go ahead and make me a graph of all the fucking shows I have to do every week. Oh, Christ. So I was in Detroit last week. I'll talk about that. Why not? I was in Detroit to do a show. It was a rescheduled show, rescheduled for a reason that I can't go into right now. But maybe in the future I'll be able to tell you what that was. I was supposed to be in Detroit in March. Fuck, I've been trying to get Detroit forever. I was trying to schedule a room there in the city itself, and everybody's like, dude, Detroit is a bombed out fucking shell. Like, maybe I should look in the suburbs. Even though I thought I had a room, I told you this story. I had a room in Detroit that I was going to do, and the guy fucking talked me out of it. Like, I was offering him money, and he kept saying, well, let's sleep on it. Fuck you, sleep on it. He didn't even have a fucking PA system, a sound system, and I was willing to book the room because it was in Detroit proper. And I knew some fan would bring me a fucking sound system, or I'd just yell the entire fucking time. But yeah, so then this guy talked me out of it. I was like, God damn it. So, but finally, we wound up booking the Box Theater in Mount Clemens, Michigan. And I was excited about it. And the guy who was the owner, John, was really friendly when I called. And it was super quick. Like, all this time I'd been trying to book a room in Detroit for a year and couldn't get it done. John and I were done in 8 minutes. I told him the dates I had in mind. He quoted me a price. I told him how long the show was. He said, great. And I said, done. And I had sent a check that night. It was crazy. And then, unfortunately, something came up, and I had to reschedule the show. And previous ticket holders were very nice. They held on to their tickets and were excited to have me come. It's funny. They set up a page for me to come to Detroit. They set up a Facebook page. And then, I won't lie. I mean, everybody's very enthusiastic. But then when it came time to buy tickets, maybe not as much. But that's on me. Honestly, I need to be a better performer in order to get more people in the room to see me. That's the bottom line. It's nobody's fault but mine. So... But I was excited. I kept telling people about it, and other people were excited. Unfortunately, the scheduling, because when I schedule shows, I've always scheduled them for Friday. And the reason I did that was because I used to work a security job, where I needed to be back in town to work Saturday night. So I would go out of town on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I would come back on Saturday and work in Graveyardville. Well, now that's not the case as of November. So if I want to now, I can schedule shows for Saturdays. So when I was trying to get in shape for the CD, I scheduled San Antonio and Detroit for Saturday. Then when I rescheduled Detroit, I wasn't sure if I rescheduled it for Friday or Saturday. Like, I don't know. I started telling everybody it was Saturday, but I also think I mentioned it was Friday. Like, I don't know. All I know is I somehow clouded the waters quite a bit on that. Because there were some listeners who thought the show was Friday. And so they booked their trip to be there for Thursday and Friday and to go home on Saturday.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Which made me feel stupid. Because it was my fault for all the fucking rigmarole and the shell game and all the bullshit. But that's on me. Whatever. So I was going to do Detroit. And I was coming to town on Thursday anyway. And a member of the UN of Evil lives in Detroit, or at least outside of Detroit, our friend Jimmy O. So once I booked the show, he booked me a hotel immediately. And I was like, you don't have to do that. He goes, yes, I do. So he booked me in Sterling Heights, which is, the show itself was in Mount Clemens. And then he booked me a hotel in Sterling Heights, which is right near Utica. I mean, it's so weird. Everything was so on top of one another when I got there. So, as you know, also, I used to rent cars and I'd park in hotels and it was $1 million a night and stuff. So I stopped doing that and started taking cabs. And then listeners were offering to pick me up, or, I'd buy them lunch and we'd all hang out. That'd be fine. So on this trip, I didn't have anybody. Jimmy was going to pick me up. And then another guy, Dave, a listener, Dave, had offered to pick me up, but he got switched to working day shifts and he wasn't sure if he could pick me up. So our friend Derek reached out to me. Derek has seen the show 7 times in different cities. And he reached out and he said, hey, look, my girlfriend Mara has some friends who do a podcast in town. They're wondering if you have any time to do the show while you're here. And I wrote him and I said, listen, I get to town on Thursday, show's on Saturday, but I'm kind of spoken for in between. I can either do it right when I get off the plane on Thursday, or I can do it early Saturday morning. And because I was going to go to the Tigers game on Friday night. There was just stuff going on. So he wrote me and he's like, hey, isn't Saturday show day? Aren't you supposed to be learning some jokes that day? Like, I don't want to just screw up your routine. Because he knows, he listens to the show. And I go, yes, you're right. I go, but if these people they want me to do the show, I have a window on Saturday. I'd prefer Thursday. And he wrote me back. He's like, well, you know what? They can actually make that happen on Thursday. And I said, well, can they come get me at the airport? And then maybe get me to my hotel? If they did that, it would make life that much easier for me. And he wrote me back. He's like, yeah, they're willing to do that. Absolutely. So these people who I don't even know are going to pick me up at the hotel or at the airport. And then I will go do their podcast. And then they're going to get me to my hotel, which is amazing. Really nice. So it's a guy named Chris Masters. And he's one of there's a few cast members on this podcast. It's called Divided by Zero is the name of the podcast. And I'm not sure if my episode is released yet, but it should be out soon if it's not out already. I recorded it last week. So they pick me up. We land in Detroit. I should say this. Here was my flight schedule. It's fucking crazy. I flew, because again, flying from LA to Detroit, it was like $495. So instead, I flew to Chicago for $230, and then flew from Chicago to Detroit for $120. So I saved like $140. The only problem was I had a 6-hour layover in Chicago. But I don't care. I mean, I'm on the computer and I'm eating sandwiches from fucking Rick Bayless's joint. I'm in. So I was in the airport hanging out, and then I got to Detroit, and Chris was going to pick me up. I walked outside, and it was so crazy busy. Like, it's so funny. LAX is the busiest fucking airport ever. Even O'Hare, even though it's busy inside, when you get outside, O'Hare is nowhere near as close to as busy as LAX, because LAX is always 4 lanes deep of traffic and people swerving. It's a fucking zoo. I don't know. I don't know what other cities are doing right or what LA is doing wrong, but it's crazy. So, but then I walk outside in Detroit, and it's just as big of a clusterfuck. But here's the thing. In LA, it's all traffic of people circling or missing their entrance or whatever. And there are a million cops at LAX going, move your car. Go, go, go. You can't stop at all unless someone is direct. If someone's getting in your car, they'll tell you to get out. They're like, go, go, close the door now. Well, in Detroit, everybody was just parked. They're there waiting for people. And there's one cop who's trying to make heads or tails of it. And I'm going, dude, this is fucking crazy. So I texted Chris. I go, look, I'm outside. I'm the fat guy in a hoodie. And he's like, all right, I'm in a blue van. And he pulls up. He's in like a blue minivan. And I get in, and it's Chris. And he saw me, and I said hi. And he was, let me try to describe Chris Masters to you. He looks like the cast member from any 90s sitcom that featured really good-looking young people. He's probably like 5'8". He's like a mini Tom Cruise looking dude. Like, he was just really perfect teeth and really good bone structure in his face, great hair, and this deep voice and well spoken. And in my head, I was like, what are you doing here? Like, it was so weird. I know that sounds odd, but I just wondered, why was he in Detroit? He seemed to be a guy who should be somewhere else. So he was very pleasant and friendly to me, and I get in the van, like Henry Rollins. Ha. Read that book. It's brilliant. And Chris is in the back, and then driving was a woman named Cassie. And Cassie could not have been more fun or cute, really friendly. And Chris tells me, he goes, hey, man, we had a sign for you. And he holds it up, and he has a sign that says Mike Schmidt, and with little Schmitty on it, one of Mex's pictures they took from the website. They put it on a big placard. You meet me inside the airport. He said, but traffic was too heavy. I didn't get inside. So we're in the van, and we're talking. I'm talking to Chris, and he speaks very crisply, like someone who does radio. He had a great voice, pipes. And finally, first I go, here, you guys a couple? And it's so funny when you do that when people are not a couple, because they run away from one another faster than anything you've ever seen in your life. Like, hey, are you guys a couple? No, never, no. I would never think about seeing her pussy, never. I mean, it's like, enough. You don't have to go that crazy about it. But they both did that, and Cassie more so than Chris. Like, Chris was just like, no, but Cassie's like, no, I would never fuck Chris in a million years. And I'm like, that seems strong. But they were very nice and fun, and I was getting along with them very well. And then I finally, Chris mentioned that he lived in LA for a while, and he worked tech for bands, and all this stuff. And I'm like, why did you leave? Like, he's so Los Angeles. I knew it when I met him. And I was like, you should be in LA. You're those guys. You're every douchebag drinking in a bar somewhere telling people he's a producer. I mean, it's crazy. So they take me to their house, and I walk in, and it's Cassie and Tyler's house. Tyler's the other host of the podcast. So I walk in and I meet Tyler. He's real friendly. And I get, but it's, their house is how do I describe this? Their house is a crash pad. All right. You walk in, there's a big fucking like flat screen TV with 4 different game systems. And there's a wall that has at least 200 clocks on it. There's like jelly on the floor. You know what I mean? Like that. It's the kind of, it's where I lived with my brothers when I was growing up. We'd play Sega all day, and I'd go out and do comedy and come home. I mean, we had fast food wrappers in the fucking fridge. That's it. Everything in the fridge was a pizza box, or it was that thing. Because they're young people. That's who they are. So of course I busted their balls about it, and they bought me Propel. They bought me like fucking 4 cases of Propel. They were so nice. Because they reached out. They go, are there any food requirements that you have? Do you have any? You know, I'm like, I wanted to go. Yes. I need salad for a month. Like I need, do me a favor, buy me some prepackaged salad and get me a bunch of oranges and just mail them to my house in Los Angeles. But instead I just told them I wanted some Propel if they could, and then they did. They bought fucking 4 cases of Propel. Not cases, but you know, like little 6-packs. I met Tyler. He was friendly. And, you know, I don't know them, and then I'm wondering if they know me. Well, then it turns out Tyler's like, oh, yeah, I listened to your show. He only listened to that week's show. He doesn't know who I am. He's never heard the show itself. But it didn't matter because he was inquisitive, he was interested, and he liked the show. You can always tell the difference. There'll be people who are like, oh, I heard your show. You're crazy, aren't you? Like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking crazy. That means you turned it off in 9 minutes, right? Is that what happened? Which is fine. I don't mind. But it's funny, if you're going to ask me to be on your show, you should have a genuine idea of what I do. But Chris did, and Cassie did. I don't know if Cassie listened, but she knew through Chris. I have no idea. But it didn't matter. They were friendly and cool. And that goes a long way. I'll tell you that. Because if you show up to do a show and they're kind of standoffish, or they're putting on a show for you, or they're being silly, that's a problem. But they were great. I mean, I got along with them. We started to have like an in-depth discussion in the kitchen. It was weird about death. I mean, it was so odd. But Tyler was very nice, and we started talking about, because he's telling me that he's been interviewing his family members. He goes, you know, you talk a lot about your life. He goes, well, I'm finding myself, as I do this show, it's interesting to discuss stuff with people. So now I'm interviewing family members and finding out about their past, like my grandmother and my cousins, and I'm finding out what their lives were like as they grew up. And he goes, it's really intense. I said, man, that sounds amazing. So they said, the show's in the basement. We'll go downstairs. So we walk into the basement, and it is just, I'm waiting to find Catherine Martin in a well. I mean, it is just, I'm going to go down and record, and I'm expecting Cassie to throw a chicken bone on a fishing line to try to lure me into a hole. I mean, it's just it's a basement. Like, it's not finished or furnished. They had flooding, like Mex did. And now all the walls have been destroyed. I mean, like, they're in the middle of fixing it. So it's not like they're neglecting it. It's just they're in the middle of fixing it. But when we go down to record, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And it was like a solitary confinement cell in prison. We turn the corner, and there's chairs and a table and microphones. And Chris sits lower than the rest of us. He's in like a little pod, like you. He's the lily of the show. So he sits there with the board in front of him, and he has a microphone too. And we start just sitting around the table talking about whatever's going to happen, about when the show's going to start. And then Tyler says, so, and he asks me a question. And I go, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm just asking you. And I go, we're recording? Are we talking? And he goes, oh yeah, we've been recording the whole time. And I go, don't you have a fucking opening of the show where you give an interview, you just introduce me and tell people who I am, and you introduce yourselves? People at home want to know who you are. There's like 5 voices here. They need to know who's talking, right? And they go, well, no, this is the way we do it. We just kind of talk. I go, that's not the way you do it, Tyler. I don't know what I said, but I'm sure that's all still in the show. You'll hear it when you hear the Divided by Zero podcast. So I start busting their balls. I'm like, people want to know who's talking. Introduce yourselves. Go around the table. Who are you? Who are you? Like, I made them do stuff. And then I said, and tell them who I am. Nobody just wants to hear you start going, so where are you from? I mean, nobody gives a fuck. And they laughed. They totally rolled with it. They laughed, had a good time. And in the middle of talking, it was me and Tyler and Chris. Tyler and I were doing most of the talking. Chris would jump in. And I had a great time. I just had a really good time talking to these guys. They're younger than me. I will tell you. Oh, I should tell you this. Holy shit, this is awesome. We were in the van, and I was talking about something about songs or music. And I go, "What are you, Cassie? 22?" And she goes, oh, "Yes. How did you know that?" I said, "Because that's what I do. I know those sorts of things." So I'm talking, blah blah blah. And I this is sad. I don't remember the number, but I'm just because they'll know. But I won't lie to you guys. But I go, Chris, what are you, 28? And he goes, "How the fuck are you doing this?" I got them both on the nose, And then when I walked in, I tried it with Tyler and I missed on him. But still, 2 out of 3. I think our friend Meatloaf would tell you that's not bad. So I go downstairs and we're talking and we're having a very interesting conversation. And they're young. And I kept saying, "Well, you guys are young." Tyler was 29. I kept going, "You guys are kids. You don't know anything I'm talking about," and all that stuff. But still, they were interested. They were genuinely interested in life. And I don't know how to explain it. Like, they didn't just want to fuck around. Like, they actually were interested in talking a little bit. So, and I think I talked most of the fucking time, as always. And then, in the middle of the show, some other dude walks in. And he's another host of the show. But he arrived in the middle. And his name was, oh God, what was it? Alabama Megatron. Of course it wasn't. But that's the thing, is they're all like, they use names. They have podcast names. Like, why the fuck do you have podcast names? What is wrong with you? Grow up. So Alabama Megatron sits down and we're talking, and finally I go, "What are you, 23? He goes, "Yep." I go, "Ha ha!" I was like, "Yeah." 24, whatever he was. But I got him. So he shakes my hand, and then we start talking, and I go, "All right, well, tell people who you are. You just showed up." And then he shakes my hand again. And then as we continue talking, all of a sudden he reveals that he's deathly ill. He's like, "Yeah, I'm pale. I could barely get out of bed to go to work today. I'm so sick." I'm like, "You just shook my hand twice, motherfucker." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I'm sorry about that." I go, "Well, dude, tell me you're sick. I got a show to do in 2 days. Are you going to fucking get me sick? If I'm in a fetal position of fucking Marriott in a week, I'm going to be furious at you." Whatever the fuck I said. I don't know. You'll hear the show and you'll hear exactly what I said. But we talked. I don't even know how long we talked. It might have been, the podcast was like an hour and 45 minutes. It was long, and we had a really good time. So then when we left, I was saying goodbye to them, and they go, "Okay, we got to take you to your hotel." I said, "Good." And they go, "We got to get going because there's going to be traffic, and it's like an hour away." I went, "What?" They go, "Yeah, it's probably like 50 minutes away from here." I was like, "Oh, dudes, I am so fucking sorry that you got to take me out there." They go, "No, we don't mind. It's totally cool." I said, "That's not cool. I didn't think it was going to be that." Because, I mean, it was like 20 miles to the airport, from the airport to their house. And now they got to go 50 miles to take me to this fucking hotel. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And no wonder I didn't sell any tickets. I'm selling to Detroit. You would have to drive an hour and 10 minutes just to get to fucking Mount Clemens. So I go upstairs and I go, "Hey, do any of you want to come to the show this week?" And they're like, "Well, we're not doing anything." "Yeah, we'd love to." I said, "Great." I said, "If you want to come, just, I hope you come out. It's at the Box Theater in Mount Clemens. That'll be fun." It was Tyler and Cassie. I think Cassie was working, but Tyler said he would go, and I don't know if Alabama was going to go, and Chris said he had to work. But I said, "Yeah, just if anybody wants to go, let me know." And then we drove, and Tyler and Cassie drove to my hotel. They were so nice. I got along with them great. I check into the Marriott, and I mentioned some listeners who had scheduled their trip around me doing a Friday show. Those were our friends Jill and Deb. Jill from Wisconsin, and then her friend Deb is her best friend. And they came out there for Thursday and Friday to see the show. And they were going home Saturday morning. And I'm like, God damn it. I felt awful. Just fucking awful. So she had contacted me through Facebook, and because they were having a girls' trip out. A girls' trip. And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a girl, right? I mean, I'm going to fuck this whole trip up." Because I don't know what girls do on a girls' trip. You're all going to go get mani-pedis, and then you're going to drink tea, and you're going to start scissoring for a while. I don't know what the fuck you got going on. I don't want to be in the middle of any of it. I'm going to fucking ruin the whole trip. So, but they were very nice. So they had just arrived in Detroit themselves, because they had driven from Wisconsin. Jesus. I don't know how anybody makes that drive to see me. It makes no sense, but that's fine. I'm so glad you did. So they're like, "Well, we're in town. Do you want to do something?" And they're like, we're kind of beat because we've been driving. And I'm like, well, I'm at the hotel. Whatever you guys want to do is fine. So I said, I got to take a shower. So I jumped in the shower. I got out and I texted, and they were at Joe's Crab Shack or something. And I'm like, well, I'm not mobile. And they go, well, we'll come get you. So they came and got me. And it was nice to see them. And then I wound up, we were so, all of us were tired because they drove and I was at a layover and all this bullshit. So we just went, I was on, what was the road? I was on Hall Road. Okay. I was staying on Hall and their hotel was further away. It was on Van Dyke. And literally, I don't know what Mount Clemens, Michigan is, except if I saw it on a map, you would just see Hall Road turn into 59, 53, and then Van Dyke. Like the whole thing's a big circle. And on Hall Road were just chain restaurants, and where they were staying were nice restaurants, like fun local restaurants. But we were so gassed, and we were at the Marriott. We're like, let's just go to fucking somewhere out here. So we went to a place called Boston's, and they had like homemade potato chips with Alfredo on them. Jill ordered those. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you just, is this like a bet? Because Jill, that's her, like she eats like really spicy food. There's a clip of her on Facebook in a jalapeno eating contest. And she ate like 21 jalapenos or something like that. Yeah, she's a monster. It's just, I like a badass. Like I couldn't even hope to be that badass. Do you know what I mean? Like I ate one jalapeno and I'm like, sour and pain. But she's like eating 21 and she's laughing. She pulls the heart out of a small child and swallows it. So we went to Boston's and we hung out. So it's me and Jill and Debbie. And I don't know Debbie very well. I don't even fucking know Jill very well. All right. I mean, I met them at shows. But I know Jill more than I know Debbie. I've only met Debbie like once or twice, and Jill I've met like 2 or 3 times. So we're sitting there talking, and when I say we are sitting there talking, there should be a comma in there, because it's we're sitting there, meaning me and Jill, comma, talking is what Deb is doing. She will not shut up. And she's very nice, and she's certainly very interesting. And I learned a lot about her that night. And look, I told you, when I go out with people, let them talk, because I talk all the fucking time. All I want to do is hear them talk. But it got to the point where it was, like if I thought ordering potato chips with Alfredo was kind of a contest, I think Deb was in a see how long I can go without breathing contest. She was rampaging downhill. Like I didn't even think her mouth closed at one point. Like in my mind, I was like, maybe it doesn't physically. Maybe physically, you know what? Maybe she's like the human version of the bus in Speed. And she has to keep talking like 50 miles a minute, or she's gonna just fucking blow up right here in Boston's. And I'm gonna be covered in Deb goo. I can't be covered in Deb goo. So she goes outside to smoke at one point, and I look at Jill, and I just go, hey, is that normal? She's like, absolutely not. So I'm like, thank God, I'm not the only one who thought it. She's like, no, I've never seen her. I don't think she's talked this much. She's my best friend. I've never seen her talk this much in our lives. And I guess it was just she was so happy to be on vacation, and she had a couple of belts. And that'll loosen the purse strings on the old mouth a little bit. And she just went off, man. Went off. And would not stop talking. And I've learned that she has a fondness for karaoke. She continued. She kept talking. Because I guess that's her thing, is like she's really good at it. Okay? So she starts telling me that she's really good at karaoke. And then she starts looking at her phone. She's like, we got to find a karaoke bar to go to tonight. And I'm just going, no, we do not. Absolutely not. But I didn't get to say no because she continued to talk. Because I'm just beat, man. I mean, I'm tired. And so we wind up at Boston's. We hung out forever. And she kept looking for a karaoke bar on her phone. And I looked at Jill and I go, hey, I'm tired. I'm probably not going to go to karaoke. If you guys want to go, that's fine. But I'm not going to make the scene. She's like, no, I know that's not going to happen. We'll take you back to your hotel. Don't even worry about it. So we hung out and I wound up going back to my hotel. They went back to wherever they were staying. I didn't even know if they went to karaoke. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to get away and try to breathe, because again, it was like sharing a space helmet with someone, because she just took all of the air up with all of her chatter, and she was really nice. I liked her, but Jesus Christ. Friday rolls around. I wake up and grab a shower. They texted me. They're like, you want to go to lunch? Because they went to the mall and did a bunch of shopping and stuff. And so I said, yeah, but I'm finding a better place for lunch. And if you remember, when I was in Milwaukee, I took Jill to sushi school. And she was up for it, which I was shocked. So then they met me at the hotel, and I go, all right, I started to Google places to eat, and I go, do you guys like Lebanese food? And they're like, we don't know what it is. We never had it. I go, oh, guess where we're going for lunch? We're going to Ike's restaurant. So we went to Ike's and we had some fucking tabbouleh, and we had some hummus, and we had some what do you have? Some falafel. Had some shish tawuk, and it was awesome. And they're again, it's food they've never eaten before, words they've never said before. And we were hanging out and we were ordering food, and thankfully Deb stopped talking long enough for me to order the food, and then the food came and she chewed a little bit, but she continued to talk, rampaging. And then we were trying to figure out what we were going to do that night, and it was like, so Jill posted up that we were at Ike's. She posted it on her Facebook page, and Hannah, who's a good friend of the show, had come in from Ohio, and I wasn't sure she was coming, but I certainly didn't know she was going to be there on Friday. And she writes, I'm a mile from that restaurant. Why didn't somebody contact me? And in my head, I'm like, because I don't know you. What am I going to do? Hey, are you in from Ohio yet? Are you even coming? Want to come to get Lebanese food with us? You write me. I'm the talent, motherfucker. Contact me. I don't reach out to you. So then I texted Hannah, because I have her phone number from before when I met her in Milwaukee, and I texted her and I go, hey, we're trying to figure out something to do tonight. Are you up for it? You want to do something? And she's like, yeah. So I go, well, we can all go watch playoff hockey at a bar, because I don't know what the fuck to do. That's the thing is, I started to get with 3 women. Exactly. That's the thing though, because what else am I going to do? Because they want to pair off and scissor. I don't know what the fuck they want to do with their lives. So I don't know what to do to reach out to them. I don't know where to go. I don't drink, and I'm not going to a karaoke bar. That's not fucking happening.
Yes, that's what you should have done.
And it's only like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'm like, you want to go to a movie? Like, I mean, I don't know. I have no game. I have no nothing. And these, we're all married people. Well, they are. So I don't know what to do. So I said to Hannah, I go, we're going to go to a bar and watch playoff hockey. Because I know, you know what? I know Jill and Deb don't mind. They might have a beer, and I can watch hockey, and all the hens can fucking cackle at one another, and I can watch a game. So, so we go to this place called Jamboozies, and it's me and Deb and Jill, and we sit down. And then Hannah joins us eventually. And I felt bad because we were sitting at a table, and I'm like, do we have to order food? Because like when you're sitting at a table, it's like real estate. So you have to kind of order food to justify it. But instead I got a Coke, and they got beers and whatever. Deb got a beer, and then Deb got another beer, and then Deb got another beer. And Deb got a few more beers. And Deb finally was just like 2-fisted beers. Like she was going to work. We're watching the game. Goals are being scored. I'm trying to explain hockey to ladies. And Hannah and I are having a good time. I'm joking around with her. We're having a good time hanging out. And the Red Wings are leading 3-1. And I'm like, Jesus, this game just has to end. It can't go to overtime because I'm in a fucking bar with 3 girls explaining hockey. Just get me out of here. And Deb starts talking about karaoke and how she wants to go to karaoke, and she wants to start singing. And there's a band that's supposed to be in this bar we're at, but they won't come on until after the hockey game. So Deb is like, we got to find a karaoke bar. We got to go to karaoke. It's going to be so fun tonight. I can't wait to show you that I can sing. And she goes to go smoke. And I looked at Jill, and I'm like, I am not going to karaoke. Like, this is not happening. And I look at Hannah. I go, are you going to karaoke? She goes, no, I don't. Are we? And I go, no, absolutely not. And Jill's like, I know. I've never seen her like this. This is actually kind of scary. I'm like, I don't want to hear that it's scary. She's like, well, she's talking so much, and she's drinking, and it's like she's just excited to be like. And in my head, I'm like, well, what goes on at home? Does she not talk or hang out? She goes, no, we hang out all the time. So every time she goes out to smoke outside, she comes back in. And she goes, I just met a guy from Muskegon, and she's like, got some story. She's talking to dudes outside. She's meeting guys and making friends, and she's like, oh, I talked to that bouncer. Yeah, he's a nice guy, and he's from here. And I'm like, oh my God. So then, you know what? Go hang out with them. That's fine. Go. I'm watching hockey. Go. And I felt bad for Jill then, because Jill's got her friend on a leash, and she's trying to keep an eye on her. Because I know what that's like, man, when you have that one drunk friend who won't stop being drunk. And all you're trying to do is you're like, just have a good time. Sit down, relax. And they get up and they wander around, and they start like, hanging out at the fool's ball table and challenging people to a game, like that bullshit. And you just got to watch yourself and go, oh man, I can't get sucked into this vortex of weird. So then Deb comes over, And I looked, I'm sorry, Deb steps away to go smoke. And I look at Jill and I go, hey, let me tell you something. We need to get her the fuck out of here before that band starts playing. Because if that band starts playing, she's not going to want to leave. She goes, I know. She already texted me that she can't wait to start dancing. I go, that's unacceptable. That is not happening. No, I can't do it. She's like, I know, I don't, but she already said that she's going to start dancing and she wants to go to karaoke, and I can't understand. She's like, she's telling me she's going to find a bar, we're going to go sing, and I'm like, I'm not doing that, right? I go, do you want me to step in here? She goes, what do you mean? I go, well, do you want me to big brother this? Like, I can very easily just go, hey, this is over and I'm going home. I mean, I can do that. And she's like, no, it's not that yet. Don't worry, we're fine. And I go, okay. I go, I don't want to be the bad guy, but if you need me to be the bad guy, I'm happy to be the bad guy. And what's funny is, this is Friday night. They're supposed to be at my show. They drove 400 miles. They drove 400 miles to see me. And now I'm in a bar saying, do you want me to scold her and get her the fuck out of here? Because I'm happy to do it. So Deb starts walking around. She's meeting people. She's being friendly. And then she comes back to the table. And the game ends, by the way. I should tell you this. I didn't want the game to go to overtime because I wanted to get the fuck out of there. And then Anaheim scores like 2 goals and ties the game. And I'm like, oh my God. So now we have to wait through a 15-minute intermission and then go to overtime. And also in overtime, if the fucking Red Wings lose, their season's over. The whole bar is going to be pissed. It's going to be a mess. I go, I wanted it to be over. I wanted the Red Wings to win. So then they get into overtime, and Deb is like making more friends and meeting people outside and smoking and drinking. And then she orders another beer. And Jill's like, I can't believe she ordered another beer. I go, it's your friend. You know, what do you want me to do? And again, she's really nice. She just got away from her. So the Red Wings score in overtime. Place goes fucking bananas. They had red lights and sirens. It was awesome. And I'm like, we're getting the fuck out of here now. We're leaving now. But Deb's outside. So we're kind of gathering our thoughts a little bit. And then, sure enough, Planet of Fun takes the stage.
Oh, no.
And they have their Planet of Fun banner up. And there's a birthday party there. A girl named Brittany. There's 2 full tables of a birthday party with balloons. And they're going crazy. And Planet of Fun goes up on stage. And their opening song is Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Oh, no.
And then their second song is Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. And then the third song is 18 in Life by Skid Row.
No. Oh, my God, no.
And Hannah looks at me and she goes, do you know that it's her 22nd birthday? I said, yeah. She goes, every song they've played has been older than that girl. She goes, they got to be having a great time over there. I go, yeah, that's fucking awful. Meanwhile, Deb comes in and she's like, 18 in life, you got. And she's like, I mean, and she can sing, by the way. She's very good. But she comes in and she starts talking about going to karaoke and she really wants to sing and she wants to dance and she wants to sing and dance. And why can't we sing and dance? And Jill, again, I don't know any of these people. I just sort of know them. So I've figured this out about Jill. Jill has got a fucking temper. like to the point where it might be fun to fight with Jill. Like it was like that kind of, because she immediately kind of turned into me for a second. And Debbie is like starting to go, I want to go sing and karaoke. And Jill is just giving her like this 1,000-yard stare and just climbs into her phone. And then Jill is like, Debbie, you need to come. And they start like kind of raising their voices. Jill was, let's put it this way, not voices, plural. Jill was raising her voice and trying to get a handle on the situation. And Deb is about, 40 beers in and really wants to sing and loves Planet of Fun and is sitting there and they're going back and forth. And I'm sitting there with Hannah. We're in a booth, okay? I'm in the middle of the booth with Hannah and Jill's on one side and Debbie's on the other. And they're yelling across the table.
Oh, my God.
And I'm watching it unfold. And I look at Hannah and I just lean over and I go, Mom and Dad are fighting. She goes, yep. I go, do you think they'd notice if we just bailed? Like just... I said, what if like cartoons we just slid like underneath the table like gum wide and all of a sudden emerged on their side and ran? Do you think we can get away with it? She's like, I'll drive. And I look over and Jill is just in her phone and ignoring Debbie. And Debbie's like, come on, why can't we go sing? I really want to go sing. And then starts crying and leaves the bar.
Oh, no.
Now listen, folks, if you know anything about me, you know there are 5 words that I would enjoy less than any other 5 words in the English language. Drama in a karaoke bar. It's bad enough I've got drama at Jambosi's. But if I have to wind up relocated to a fucking karaoke bar and playing the same scene over again, I'm going to lose my mind. So Hannah looks at me and she goes, at some point you just kind of feel like a voyeur. I'm leaving. I said, okay. I said, I'll walk you out. And she goes, do you want me to take you home? I go, no, I'm not going to hang Jill with this. Because I was hanging out with them. They made the trip to see me. They should be seeing me that night if it wasn't for my fuck up. And it's not Jill's fault that Deb decided to climb into a fucking pony keg. So I go, I'll be right back. I walk Hannah out to her car. And she was very friendly and nice. And I, put her in her car and she drove off. I went back inside. I look at Jill and I go, what's our move? She goes, I don't know. I don't have any clue. I've never seen her like this, and I don't want to see her like this. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm like, all right, well, you got to take point on this. I go, because I can't be telling your friend what to do. I mean, I need to know where we're going and what we're doing. She goes, well, you heard her. She wants to go to a karaoke bar. She wants to stay here and dance. She wants to sing. I don't know what she wants to do. I can't, I don't know. I don't know. I've never fucking seen her like this. And I'm like, all right. And I'm trying to be nice. But I don't really know anybody at the table. But part of me wants to go, hey, this isn't my fucking fault, right? You could probably stop being mean to me at this point. She wasn't being mean. She was just mad and frustrated with the situation. So she was being very short and clipped with me. And she's on her phone banging away. And I'm just like, hey, you got to climb out of your phone and help me here because I don't know what's going to happen. Look, I am 6 songs into a set by Planet of Fun. And that's 6 fucking songs too many. Deb comes back. And she's like, I found it. It's called Westbridge Pub. It's a karaoke pub. Please, we got to go. Please, we just got to go right now. Please, let's go and sing. And I'm looking at Jill and Jill's looking at me. And neither one of us has the balls to just go, no. So I go, well, let's get out of here. Because it's super loud. And I don't want to listen to fucking Planet of Fun anymore anyway. Because let me tell you something. There has never been a more wrong name to describe a situation. Because I am not on a Planet of Fun anymore. We walk outside, get in the car, and Jill is not talking. Jill is completely silent. Deb won't stop talking. And we get our phones out to try to figure out where we're going. And I've got, Google Maps, and so does Debbie. And I'm telling Jill, I'm going, all right, you're going to take a left up here? And the Deb goes, take a left up here! Like, she's on the same wavelength as me, but she's yelling, and she doesn't realize what she's doing. She's like, I can't wait to sing. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be, I can't wait to go. It's going to be so, and Jill won't even look at but she's just looking out the window and furious, just fucking gripping her steering wheel. And I'm trying to tell her, every time I whisper all right, you're going to take a left in a mile. Take a left in a mile, Jill. It's going to be so fun. I'm like, oh my God. And part of me is going, all right, look, I know that this entire town is Hall Road and Van Dyke Road. I sort of know where I am now. If I jump out right now and do a barrel roll to the side of the road, I'll make it back to the hotel before morning. Because it's like 12:30. I mean, it's late. It's almost 1. And now we're on our way to a karaoke bar. Now, I don't like karaoke ever. So we get out front of the karaoke bar. We pull in, and it's got and it's funny. Jill's just like, I don't see it here. And then, but there's a big sign that says karaoke 7 nights a week till 2 a.m. And then it's right there. You can see it, Jill. It's right there. We pull in, and we pull up to the front door, and Jill's driving, and Jill goes, all right, Debbie, go in. We'll park. And Debbie goes, come on, you guys. I want us all to go in together. We're all together. And Jill floors it. Just floors it to find a parking spot. We go flying back in our seats. And I'm looking out the window like, oh, dude, I want to fight with you so bad because it would be so fun. I mean, we would just ruin the earth. It would be like Hulk versus Thing. It would be just amazing. And then Debbie is just like, oh, I can't believe you're so mad at me, Jill. Why are you so mad at me? We parked the car. Jill gets out and just walks. And I'm with so Debbie and I are walking and Debbie's talking to me and then she's of course saying how upset she is that Jill's upset and just drunk stuff. You know how it is. And Jill has to take a phone call. She calls her husband. So she goes and takes a walk. And then Debbie, of course, is telling me, she's like, I don't, we're just here to have fun. We're having a good time. I'm just like, let's just go sing a bullshit song, get the fuck out of here. Because once again, I'm trapped in a situation I don't want to be in. Because I'm friendly. Looking, you know what I'm doing? I'm frantically looking around for cherry tomatoes anywhere. If I could just find those. If I could just find cherry tomatoes, I would have an amazing time. So Deb and I are at the front door, and I'm waiting for Jill because I'm not going to let her sit out there in the fucking dark. And Debbie and I are talking. Debbie goes, I'm going to go sign up for a song. And so she goes running inside. So Jill walks up, and I go, hey. I go, are you all right? And she ignores me and walks into the bar. And we go grab a table. And Debbie fills out a fucking piece of paper with her song, whatever the fuck the rules are. And let me tell you something. We walked into this karaoke bar. Now, you know how I feel about karaoke. Not a fan. But you would think that the people hanging out in a karaoke bar were enjoying themselves in some way. They had chosen to go there because they enjoyed that activity and wanted to participate in it. I walked into that fucking bar. It looked like Gen Pop in a fucking security prison. Just miserable people. Looked like they were sentenced there to listen to people sing. And it was complete Detroit. A lot of heavy people, a lot of big people. And just sitting there miserable, just sad. And although, you know what, quite frankly, that could have been because when Jill walked in, she cast a pall over the entire room as her black cloud of rage flooded the entire building. So we go find a table. I sit down, and Jill sits down, and she's on her phone texting, doing whatever on the internet. I don't know what the fuck she's doing, but I'm sitting there by myself. And then Deb comes up and she starts talking about songs and singing and how she loves it and she loves to sing all the time. And when she sang, and I'm just on. And look, she's drunk and she's excited and that's fine. And she's going off and just running downhill. And I'm sitting there listening. And finally, I just look over at Jill and she's still on her phone. And I go, are you here? And she won't even look up at me. And I go, are you seriously? I go, are you going to talk? And Debbie's still talking. And Jill just goes, look, I don't, what? And I go, you know what? I'm just going to grab a cab. I'm just going to take a cab home. Okay, you guys do your thing. And she's like, fine, whatever. And so I walked outside and I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. All night long I've been kind of trying to deal with it. But now I'm fucking mad. Because I didn't do anything. I didn't do a fucking thing. This is not my fault. I didn't do this. And granted, they drove 800 miles round trip to see me, which is really, really nice of them. And I'm so happy they did. But at that moment, I just wanted to run. I just wanted to fuck. Because I've been there, man. I've been in that situation before. You know what? I've been Jill in that situation where I just fucking threw on the anger and decided to shut everybody the fuck out. So I went outside and I took a lap. And I knew Red Dot Cab was the cab to call. So I took my phone. And I went, you know what, dude? You can't do this. That's just a shitty move. They drove here to see you. You can't, and obviously Jill's miserable. She's not having a good time. So now you're going to leave her alone? That's exactly what she did to you, and you're pissed about it. So I went back inside. I sat at the table, and Deb's like, I knew you were going to leave. She's friendly and nice. Again, it was just like being with the St. Bernard. She was real friendly and cool. She was just super drunk and acting and wanting everything she wanted. You know what she was like? It wasn't even like a St. Bernard. Bullshit. She was like Grape Ape. Where like Grape Ape just kind of sits on a van and crushes it, and it's like, oh well, that's Grape Ape. You just fucking acknowledge it that they're incapacitated to the point that they're going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want. It was like Clifford the big red dog. Just comes in and just slobbers all over. And he's like, yay, friendly. We're all having a good time. Well, we were, Clifford, until you broke my sternum. I mean, it's like, seriously. So then Jill is sitting there, and I come back, and she goes, I thought you were leaving. I said, I can't. I won't leave. We're fine. We're cool. I'm cool. Let's have a good time. I said, you want to go play darts? She goes, what? I go, anything to get me out of this room where these people can't sing. There's a dart room. Let's go in there and play darts. She goes, really? I said, I don't care. Yeah. And Debbie's like, don't go play darts. I'm going to sing. You got to stay and watch me sing. I go, I'll be back when you sing. Don't worry. And Jill's like, I don't know about darts. She goes, you know I was on a dart team, right? I'm like, I don't care how good you were. Honestly, at this point, I'm worried about putting something sharp in your hands. She goes, well, hold on. So I go in the room with the darts, and they also had a boxing machine, like a boxing, like a speed bag that you could punch and get a rating. And I am so fucking mad. I want to punch it so badly. I want to put my money in and just punch it as hard as I can. But there are people sitting around it. And I would have to ask them to move in order to punch it. And then in my mind, I'm like, well, what if you punch it and it says you're a pussy? Then everybody sees you made them move just so you could prove you're a pussy to them? You can't do that.
Oh my god.
So I walked away. And then I went to go see if Jill wanted to play darts. And then they called some more singers, and they were doing the cha-cha slide, and people are dancing. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Then they give us water and lemonade. Like Jill ordered a lemonade, and you could taste the powder in it. She goes, taste this. And I tasted it. It was like grit. Like it was like the fucking, they put a scoop of country time in a glass of water. It's fucking awful. And I started to realize this is why everybody here hates this. It was like a Night Gallery episode, like where you're sentenced to do the worst fucking thing that you possibly can. And the only one who wasn't in the Night Gallery episode was Deb. She was in her own personal, like, this is her best episode of Twilight Zone ever. So she goes, I hope they have a wireless microphone. I'm going to come here and sing to you. I said, don't. You don't want to do that. She goes, I am. She goes, I'm going to get a wireless microphone. I'm going to come up and I'm going to sing right in your face. You're going to see how good I am. I said, Jill, that's great. Could you tell Deb not to sing in my face, please? She's like, you heard her. She's going to get a wireless microphone. She's going to come sing to you. Way to bail on me. So Deb walks up to go to the restroom, and I look at Jill, and I go, she's not going to sing to me. She goes, she is. I go, then tell her not to. She goes, no, what am I going to tell her? She goes, I didn't want to come here. I couldn't tell her that. So Deb comes back. They call her name. And by the way, everybody sucks at this singing. Everybody's terrible. And they're doing like some guy did Blackout by the Scorpions. I mean, like, they're awful. They're picking the worst songs. So they call Deb. And I don't know what Deb's song was, some country song. But the thing is, she does karaoke 4 times a week. She's won awards. So she gets the microphone and she starts singing, and she's really fucking good. Like, the whole place goes, like, you could see all of them are like, oh, this is why we're here. Like, they get these smiley faces, and she walks away. She doesn't read the words on the screen. She doesn't need them. She knows the song that well. So she's going up to people's tables, and she's pointing at them, and she's singing, and she's having a good time, and people are clapping, and they're like, yeah, yeah. And then she's trying to get to me, but the cord won't stretch, but I'm pointing at her, and I'm like, I'm clapping, and I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. You're so good at this. And I'm trying to like pretend that I looked at Jill and I'm like, is this what it is? We're supposed to be like she's a 3-year-old and we're supposed to pretend that she's the best and just clap? And she goes, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. And I'm like, get out of your phone. So I'm just like, and she's like pointing at me, and the guys at the bar, thank God, everybody liked her, so she didn't have to focus on me. So then she could sing to everybody in the bar, and they were all enjoying it. And then the song ends, yay, and everybody goes crazy. And they did go crazy because she was really good. And she comes over to me. She goes, I told you I could sing. And I'm like, well, I didn't doubt that you could sing. You didn't need to drag me out at 2 a.m. to prove that you could sing, but still. And she sits down and she's like, oh, that was so amazing. I go, good. Let's get out of here. And she goes, okay, we're going. And then Jill stands up and we're getting ready to go. And Deb walks over to the catalog and she starts looking. She goes, oh, can I do one more song? And I go, absolutely not. We're getting the fuck out of here right now. Oh, okay. I was nice to that point. I let her do her one song. Oh, can I do one more song? Absolutely not. We're getting the fuck out of here right now. Okay. And we walked out into the cold night. It's freezing. It was freezing in Detroit. And again, I understand why she wanted to go to karaoke. It's the thing that she loves most, and it's the thing that she's best at. She's fucking fantastic at it. But she just didn't need to pound 30 beers to get us there. If she would have said, let's go there at 11, I still would have hated it. But so what? And then we walked outside, and Jill was just furious. I mean, she was furious. And they took me to dropped me off at my hotel. And they're like, I said, am I going to see you guys in the morning, like for breakfast or something? I don't think that bar's open in the morning for karaoke, so we could probably do something else. Finally, Jill smiled. And she's like, yeah. She goes, well, we'll text you in the morning for breakfast or something. I said, great. I went to my hotel and just fucking hid. And the next morning, we wound up at a Denny's at like 11 o'clock. They came and picked me up. And Denny's, I haven't been in a Denny's in forever. Jesus Christ, what did Denny's do? They just decided to ruin food. What is on their minds? They're just like, hey, you like French toast? Well, you know what we did? We fucked it with caramel. How about eating that? Everything there's a dare. It's so bad. Like all this food is like, hey, you guys like pancakes? Guess what we did? We turned them into ping pong balls and we poured fucking sour cream all over them and fucking strawberries and chocolate syrup. Eat that fucking pancake sundae, asshole. I mean, it's just okay. So then we go to eat, and it's me, Jill, and Deb. And Deb is sober, so I spend the entire breakfast making fun of her. She's like, oh, what are you getting? I said, I don't know. Are you going to huff some paint? What are you going to do before we eat? And she would just make this sad face. I go, you know I'm kidding. You were great. You sang great, but Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. You know you went crazy last night, right? She's like, come on. I'm just having a good time. I go, yes, you were. And she kind of made a face. Then they brought the menus, and then we had Teresa was very nice, and they left, and Deb's like, oh, boy, that was a lot of fun we had last night. I go, yeah. I can't believe you guys drove all the way from Wisconsin. I said, did you crotch all that Molly, or did you guys have it in the trunk? How did that work for you? Did you? She's like, shut up. I said, I'm sorry. I've never seen someone take that much E and not die. And she's like, stop. I mean, and luckily she totally rolled with it and had fun, but it was just, she did get kind of like, whoa, once. And then Joe goes, I told you he was going to make fun of you. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Last night I made fun of you and just kept bouncing off of you like arrows off a suit of armor. Today it's going to sink in, motherfucker. I had to listen to 4 fat guys get their motor running and get it on the highway last night at 1:30 in the morning, thanks to you. So we had breakfast and that was fine. I went to go do the show. I went back to the hotel. They dropped me off. They drove home. They drove back to Wisconsin. Didn't even get to stay for the show, but that's fine. And then John from Toronto, our friend John from Toronto, picked me up. So I apologize. Jill and Debbie dropped me off. I walked in to get my key fixed because it wasn't working, and John was checking in to the Marriott, my buddy John. And he's like, I can't believe that I would see you down here. And he goes, did you eat? And I go, yeah, I just had breakfast at Denny's. He goes, well, I'm going to go have lunch. I go, well, I'll go with you. I'll just hang out. I'm going to hang out. You know what I mean? It's like, so they check him in. He's in the room next to mine. He's in 328. I'm in 329. And yeah, that's right. Finally, business is about to pick up on this trip. I grabbed him by the shoulders. John, do you like karaoke? No. All right, let's go to lunch. And he wanted to go to White Castle. So we went up at White Castle. I had like one slider, and he ate 12, I think. He went bananas. And we hung out talking for like an hour and a half. And then I got to my room, and I had to sleep because I hadn't slept much. So I got 2 hours of sleep, and then got up to learn some jokes. John took me to the theater. We went together. I checked into the theater at the Box Theater in Mount Clemens. John was another John was the owner. Nice guy. I meet up with him. Then they show me the room, and we go in the back. And I said, is there a green room? And he goes, well, you know what? Our green room's kind of in the basement because it's all messed up. And I'm like, what is with basements in this fucking town? So he goes, well, there's a room over here. And he took me in the back. And there was a nice room. It had a couch and a table and stuff. But it was open to the street. Floor to ceiling windows. And people could look in and see me. I was like in a fishbowl. Nice. And the only way to get to the club was to walk that block. So you would see me. Everybody coming to the show would see me sitting there. And I go, well, dude, I don't care about that. And he goes, you sure? And I go, nah, people know me. It's no big deal. I go, I'm going to sit here. I'll be learning jokes, and that's fine. He goes, okay, I can cover the windows with stuff. I go, no, it's cool. So then he took these big plants, like he tried to Artie Johnson me and fucking hide me on the couch. I'm like, good for you. But as we're talking, I'm talking to him, and then a guy comes, who I don't know who it is at the time, but he stops, he starts pointing at me. And he starts talking, and he's like, and making jokes, like, and I go, get out of here. Like, I literally, get the fuck out of here. And the guy walked away. Because I knew he was coming to see the show, but he's like, we were doing a mime show all of a sudden. I'm like, dude, you're not Harpo and I'm not Lucy. Get the fuck out of here. So John comes in the back and he's talking to me. And I said to him, I go, hey, I got to talk to you about this gig. Just letting you know. He goes, I told him how many tickets I had sold, and here's the music. Here's an iPod. And he goes, yeah, I don't. He goes, I don't have an iPod. He goes, I still use my Discman. I go, so you tell me you don't know how to use an iPod? He goes, no, I can use it. I go, all right, well, just use this playlist, and that's fine. And I didn't, because he didn't know how to use an iPod, I decided to just let him use there's a playlist called Into the Cold that I have, which is when I'm flying east. So, and it's got over 2,000 songs on it, maybe 3,000. And it's just, I can throw that on and not worry about it. So I figured instead of giving him one that only had 20 songs that he would have to restart over when it ended, and I didn't want him fucking with the iPod, I go, just use this playlist. He goes, great. And I go, look, I got to tell you something. You know I'm going to make fun of you. You know I'm going to make fun of the room. I just want to make sure you know that I'm going to make fun of fucking everything. He goes, okay. I go, good. I go, because I was in Chicago and they were pissed. I go, I just want to make sure up front that you know everything's fair game, and it's not, I don't mean anything by it. I'm a comedian. We're having fun. I'm just making fun of stuff. And he goes, okay. Well, you're not going to say the place is a shithole or anything like that, are you? I said, well, John, look around. I'm not going to have to tell them that the place is a shithole. I was so fucking proud of it. It was so great. Because I didn't know the fucking guy. Look around here, John. I'm not going to have to tell them that the place is a shithole. So gorgeous. And he like froze. He like made a face. I go, John, I'm a comedian. It's not, I don't mean it. It's going to be fun. We're going to have fun. You'll see when you see what I do. You'll understand. Okay. He's fucking furious. He goes, well, here, let me tell you a story. And I'm like, great. Does it involve karaoke in any way? And he's like, no, here's the thing. He said, we had a benefit in here once for NOW.
Oh, Jesus.
The National Organization of Women. He goes, and they had a comedian, a woman comedian here, and she just bashed men. Her whole routine was bashing men the entire time, and the women are going crazy. Well, I'm a man. My employees are men. So the show ends, and the woman comes to me to talk to me, and she says, thank you for having us. And I go, shame on you. And she said, what? I said, shame on you. You come in here under the guise of charity, and I'm giving you a charitable donation out of the proceeds from tonight. And your comedian comes in, and she makes fun of me. She makes fun of my staff. She makes fun of all of us. You know, I have a great sense of humor. I will laugh at anything. And in my head, I'm going, no, you won't. No, you will not. But he actually told the woman, shame on you, and let them have it. And I was just, in my head, I'm just going, oh, this guy's going to hate me so much. Because if he thought her bashing men was out of line, I mean, I fucking set a torch to everything. I mean, I don't fuck around. So sure enough, he's just like, yeah, I have a great sense of humor. I would laugh at anything, but this is beyond the pale. And I'm just like, oh, Christ. But it made me laugh. Anybody who makes great points to tell you how great their sense of humor is and how they'll laugh at anything. Yeah, those are the people you need to watch out for. So I'm waiting. I'm thinking he's just going to shut the whole fucking board down when I start on him. But I'm like, well, it's a chance I'll have to take. So I said, yes, of course. Well, that's terrible. He walks out. Then I'm in the back learning jokes, and everybody who walks by stops. Everybody stops and points at me and looks at me. And I see them out of the corner of my eye, but I won't look up. But then part of me is like, do I look stupid? Like, do I have to suck in my gut? What do I need to do here? Because I'm backstage Mike. You shouldn't be seeing backstage Mike. You need onstage Mike. Nobody wants to see backstage Mike. He's learning jokes. I'm incomplete. I'm still, you know what I'm doing? I'm still becoming self-aware. I'm learning. I'm becoming sentient. I'm still jacked into the mainstream and getting full of everything I'm about to bring to you folks. You can't fucking look at me like that. I'm incomplete. So whatever. So it gets to be 8:10, and I go up on stage, and Jimmy O from the Unit of Evil is there. Good crowd. I had a lot of walk-ups. I was happy. And I started telling the story of, coming to Detroit, and I talk on drama in a karaoke bar and all that stuff. And I mentioned the podcast and about Chris Masters, and I'm like, Chris Masters is going to be something big. I go, that guy's just, I should tell you this. When I did that Divided by Zero podcast, I'm in their house, okay? They might have bodies buried in the backyard. Their basement looks like a fucking bomb hit it. There's jelly on the floor. There's 30,000 clocks. They got games all over the place. They asked me to sign a release form to be on their show. I look at Chris, I go, what is this for? He goes, so you don't sue me later? And he kind of laughs. But I know that's his pat answer. So I read it, and it's all about how they can use my voice to publicize their show and all this different stuff. And I go, well, are you selling this? And he goes, no. I go, well, then why do you need my permission? By appearing at it, I'm granting you permission to use my likeness and my voice. He goes, I go, but not for sale. And he goes, well, no, we just want to make sure that you don't sue us after the fact. It's a form. And so I busted his balls on the fucking form. I couldn't believe it that he had me sign a release. I signed it. I did the show, and I think I talked about it on the show. And then I talked about it on stage at the fucking club. I was like, they had me sign a release. I go, I'm in a fucking crash pad. Literally, there's like, it's me and Crash Bandicoot and Sonic the Hedgehog and these fucking semi-adults. Qbert hopped by, and you want me to sign a fucking release form. So I make fun of the club, and I do the thing about the shit. I do the shithole line on stage. And I go, John, you here? And he never answered me. And I'm like, ah. Power turns off. And then I do the show. And I didn't know what show I was going to do. I didn't, because I had asked people there in Detroit, I go, well, I was going to come there. You were going to see the CD, what was going to be on the CD. But I don't know if you want to see that anymore, because when the CD comes out, obviously you'll all buy it. So I asked people, I said, do you want to see new stuff, or do you want to see what the one man was? And a lot of people wrote me and said they wanted to see the one man. But also a lot of people were there had already seen the one man. Derek and Hannah and John and all of these people had seen it before. So on stage I was talking, and I started to talk about that, of course, because I can't have anything go unexamined. And I just started to talk, and I won't go into what I did. I did one story from the one man, and then I talked about a bunch of other stuff, and I had the greatest time because I had no restriction, I had no expectation, I did not make myself conform to anything. I just talked, which is what I do on here. It was a true representation of the podcast live, except for it was just like the LA Podfest. In the opening, I just talked and riffed and did whatever I wanted. Then I went into a story, and I told a long story, and then I closed with a longer story from the one man, the one I've been closing the one man with, which will be on the CD. And it was fucking fantastic. It may be the best show. Certainly, I felt better. Like, I wished that was the CD. It was 2 hours and almost 20 minutes, and which was perfect. And it was great. Everything was great. People were fantastic. It could not have gone better. I had a great time in Detroit. It was probably my favorite trip I ever had. Even chasing around amateur singer Deb and her pipes, I still had an amazing time. So the show ends, and I meet people afterwards. And Sharissa and Jeff brought me a piece of peanut butter jelly cake that they made, and it was so goddamn delicious. And they're like, yeah, we didn't, the whole cake didn't make the trip. It kind of crumbled, and so we brought you the best piece. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but who cares? Give it to me. And I ate it. It was really good. Someone, I think it was Jim, I don't know, I forgot, but someone brought me a jar of Biscoff spread that Heidi had given me in Indianapolis. And so I was excited for that. And Robert Chaz Shute, who's a big fan of the show, brought me his book. He had actually he mailed me his first book, and this was his second book. And I think I'm in the second book. There's a scene, he wrote a passage with me in it, or the podcast. And so that was real nice. I met him and his wife and his friend Anita, and I just met a ton of people. Signed a bunch of stuff. Our friend Carlton, who came out here and bought me sushi a few months ago, was there with a buddy, Bob. Everybody was nice. And we hung out. Then afterwards, I signed shirts, I sold shirts, and there was a meet and greet. We took photos, and then afterwards, we were like, "Where are we going to go?" We went to a place up the street called Orleans. John, the owner of the theater, I went up to him and I go, "How are we cool? Are we good?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "That was hysterical." I go, "All right." He goes, "I was in the room when you said that." I said, "Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I was going to say it anyway. You knew that." And he goes, "Yeah, no, I see what you do." He goes, "You weren't mean. You were funny." And I go, "Good. That's all I care about." And he goes, I'd love to have you come back." I said, "I would love to come back tomorrow." We left. We went up the street to a place called Orleans, and we ordered a bunch of food. And I didn't pay for anything the entire time I was in town. I mean, Jill was ridiculously quick with her credit card and wouldn't let me pay for anything, which was stupid. And then people at dinner didn't let me pay. John paid, and Hannah. I don't know who paid. Everybody paid, not me. Who paid? Everybody paid. And then we were sitting around, and I was talking to Dave Zawacki, who's really so complimentary and nice and friendly to me online. Calls me his podcasting hero and his internet chum, which is great. And I met his wife, I think it was Monica, and they went out to eat. Jim and Hannah and me and Carlton and his friend Bob and John, and who else came out to eat with us? There was one person on my immediate left that I'm losing, unfortunately. It was really nice to meet everyone and hang out, and all of a sudden, I got sick. We were sitting around eating. I didn't eat much. I had like half a piece of pizza and a bite of a fish taco or something, and I just got my back hurt, and I got dehydrated sick because I had sweat on stage and stuff, and I hadn't been eating much or well. So I don't know what it was. It just hit me really quick, and I could barely stand up. I got dizzy, and I went to John. I go, John, I got to go, because John was driving me. He's like, okay. And we'd already been there for about an hour and a half anyway, so it was nice, 2 hours. Everybody was real friendly, and I said goodbye, and they were real nice, and they fucking handed me money. I mean, it was just ridiculous, the donates for the show. We walked outside, and I was like, John, I got to get out of here, because I actually felt like I was going to fall. I mean, I don't know what happened. So it was me, Hannah, and John. And John and Hannah made plans. They were going to go out the next day because they were still in town, because John had come from Canada and Hannah had come from Ohio. So they were spending an extra day there. So they were like, well, we'll go see the Joe Louis statue and do stuff in Detroit. And I said goodbye to Hannah. I hugged her. It was so nice for her to come. It was good to see her. I haven't seen her since Milwaukee. She was real friendly and nice. She's always very supportive of the show. And that was it. John took me back to my hotel, and he was going to take me to the airport in the morning. It was already 1:15, and I had to be at the airport at 6. So I just went in, and instead of packing, I went right to bed because I couldn't move. Crashed. Got up in the morning, showered, packed everything, went to the airport, split, came home. Had an amazing time in Detroit, and I wish I had more live stuff scheduled. But unfortunately, circumstances are beyond my control, and right now I can't be paying for theaters and flights and all that just yet. Hopefully soon, because, man, there is nothing more I should be doing with my life than being on stage talking to people. And I got to thank all of you people in Detroit for making that point even more sharp than it was before I showed up, because I was worried. I always get worried. I always grip, and I always freak out a little bit before every show, but then I go up on stage, and you guys are so friendly and warm and accommodating, and I just fucking talk. And that's the best part. You just let me talk, and I love it. So hopefully I can get some live stuff scheduled again in the future, because I would really love to come back out and see you guys, because and also you really want me to come because I'm fucking great. I was in my house yesterday, and I got an email from Chris Masters. I don't know if you know about Chris Masters. He's going to be something someday, that kid. Little pint-sized Tom Cruise from Detroit. Oh, I should tell you this. I wrote them all on the comp list for the show. I wrote down Cassie and Tyler. And I did not write down Alabama Megatron. Fuck that guy. Use your real name if you want to come to the show. But Tyler and Cassie said they were interested in coming and all that. So I wrote them on, and I wrote Chris down just in case. So I opened this email from Chris, and he says, hey, I just want to thank you again for doing our show. I understand it was not the most professional of atmospheres, but I'm glad that you... And just this weird, kind of this form letter where he's apologizing. And it dawns on me that maybe Mara, who's their friend, told them what I said on stage. And maybe misunderstood me. Because I had an extremely good time on their show. And he writes how embarrassed he is that they had those accommodations for me, and that they're embarrassed that nobody took the time to see my show. They should have done that professionally. Just because I had taken the time to do their show, they should come out and see me. And he couldn't believe that they didn't. If he hadn't had to work, he would have been there. And he was kind of ashamed that these people didn't come out. And I'm reading this, and I felt awful, because as worried as I was that John was going to think I thought his place really was a shithole, now I'm disappointed because I was teasing about their podcast. It's kind of what I do, you know? I loved it. I mean, I really had a good time. And when you hear it, I think you'll hear that it's a really good conversation. And sure, next time you're going to have a guest over, maybe you run a Swiffer over the place. And you put away about 75 of the clocks. Maybe you do something like that, and you don't have to worry about getting put in the crosshairs. But let me tell you something. All right, you know, whether John thinks his theater that I think it's a shithole, and these guys think that I think their house is a shithole, and they got to apologize. Hey, guys, I'm talking to you live from a stripper's fucking kitchen. You are aware of that, right? I'm in a room next to deflated balloons and a fucking clown head and a fucking cymbal monkey and goddamn every single ball symbol, every single fucking ridiculous Christmas ornament, and liquid glue and pasties and glitter and all sorts of shit. I mean, this place makes your basement look like a professional studio, quite frankly. I've got a fucking lunch table and an iMac, and then I've got my friend, and that's it. I'm talking to you guys. That's all I got. Certainly I'm more talented than all of you, but so what? That's what provides you the illusion that I'm better than you, and maybe I am a little bit better than you, but so what? I was happy to go into your dank, dark basement and participate in your little fucking show, okay? You don't need to write me an apology letter and make me fucking feel bad. And yeah, you know what? You had me sign a release form so you can use my voice to promote your show? Well, there's a fucking clip for you. Cut the last fucking 15 seconds and send that out to your audience. Because I'll tell you something. You might have had a shitty house with a bunch of clocks and you're in the basement and we're sitting there and I'm going to get sick because Alabama Megatron can't be bothered to wash his fucking hands. And John's Theater might be bare walls and bare light bulbs and me in a fishbowl waving to people outside as they recognize me. But at least, at the very fucking least, you didn't have 4 fat guys singing Scorpion songs in the dark while Jill crawled into her phone and ignored me and Debbie pulled on my sleeve and kept telling me how good she was at singing. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend on Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me on Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can be our friend David Hernandez's friend on Facebook at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. You can be our friend Lily Von Stupp's friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her on 3 separate Twitter accounts, Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, Twitter.com/MNTs, and Twitter.com/FNHappyHour. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and reach out to her and find out exactly how she hurt her wrist on National Masturbation Month, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. They asked me, they're like, all right, is your name Michael Schmidt? Yes. And so they asked me a question, I'm biting my lip, and literally it's like Elvis is on a lie detector test. Say, man, I didn't take nothing. So somebody put a note in that monkey. All right, so.
Schmitty comes alive on the Joe Business page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It is an amazing nightclub in Hollywood. Only on Monday nights, though. I apologize. Also on Friday nights. On Friday nights it is as well. Let's talk about that first. Let's talk about the Friday Night Happy Hour coming up tomorrow night. Who's there? What's going to happen? Hey, first of all, before we even get into that, let's talk about the producer of that show. She is a producer of this show as well, a good friend of mine, responsible for me doing this show today because I, at one point, gathered up my things and went to walk out the door like a child. But I was told that I should sit down and do my job. And I listened dutifully because look, you don't want to get your ass kicked by a stripper.
Yeah, you do.
Well, yeah, maybe you do. That's a good point. I've been jacked a couple of times by them. That's always fun. Not a stripper you know, though. It takes all, that takes all the fun out of it. Because a stripper you don't know, if she slaps you around a little bit, and you're like, well, maybe this devolves into something else. Let's do this. Seems like there's a lot of passion involved. But I know I'm not about to give fucking Lily a ride around the block. That's not happening. So fighting with her is not as fun. But it was good of her to grab me by my figurative lapels and shake me out of my fucking nonsense. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. My friend, Lily Von Stupp. Lily Von Stupp is here. Yay. Yeah, well, I'm your friend. And you're my friend. And let's talk about Friday Night Happy Hour tomorrow night.
What about it?
It's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Who's there tomorrow?
I'm very excited because she has not performed with me since she started working at SpaceX. She works for the company that launches the private satellite.
No way.
Spaceship stuff. Yeah. Anastasia von Teeserhausen.
Anastasia von Teeserhausen,
Yes,
ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
very excited. She's going to be doing her Mae West number, which I absolutely love. Nikita
You heard that,
Mitzvah
folks.
Project.
Come up and see her sometime.
Nikita bitch.
Really? Okay. Nikita Bitch Project will be there tomorrow.
Yes, and Dizzy Van Dam is performing, and I'm performing, and
How am I not there? This is depressing.
Who else is performing?
I've been there every Friday when I'm in town. I missed it last week, and I will miss it this week, unfortunately. And these are my favorite people. I love Anastasia. She's so sweet and awesome. And Dizzy's Dizzy.
Oh yeah.
And our friend Nikita, of course. What is Nikita doing?
I'm not sure. We talked about it, but she said she'd get back to me. Right now, she's kind of working on this whole Vote Nikita thing, on this online contest thing.
Right.
So I haven't heard from her today because today's like the last push.
It's funny you would mention online contests. Let's talk about this for just a second. My friend Jim Bruce, who is one of the co-hosts of the Paul Goebel podcast, he was at least, and now he's going to get his own podcast. But Jim is a good friend of mine and a very funny comedian, and he has a Kickstarter right now that's available. If you Google Jim Bruce Kickstarter, if you go to Kickstarter and look for our friend Jim Bruce, he is raising some money to do a comedy DVD, and I don't know how many days he has left, just a couple, but he's tweeting furiously and getting people on Facebook, so I thought I'd throw out a plug for him here. Our friend Jim Bruce is on Kickstarter. If you think about it and you want to support our friend, he's a good guy, so go ahead and support him on Kickstarter. That's Jim Bruce on Kickstarter somewhere. I don't know the link just now, but go ahead and Google it. I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah.
Or if you go to Jim Bruce's Twitter or Jim Bruce's Facebook, he's got plenty of links there. But yeah, help our friend out. He's a good guy.
Jim too. He's a really nice
Yeah,
person.
we love Jim.
I did the podcast with Paul Goebel.
Yeah, you did actually. So now that's Friday Night Happy Hour,
Yeah.
which is great. This coming Monday night is the Monday Night Tease. Let's talk about last week's Monday Night Tease really quick. I was there for that,
Yes.
and I worked the door, and that was the Munsters versus the Addams Family.
Oh yeah.
And I think there was a clear winner myself, and the audience did as well. The audience was with me in thinking that the Addams Family had triumphed at the end of the evening because the Gomez and the Uncle Fester and the, oh my Christ, Morticia were amazing. Tish was Scarlet Orgasm.
Yeah.
That when there was a
I
coffin.
think she cheated a little.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
Not on purpose, but I think she blew the bell curve on that whole thing.
Fine with me. I was more than happy to see her cheat that way. But she pulled out a coffin. She had a fog machine. And she looked very Morticia-like. Was that her real hair?
No.
That was a wig, eh? Man, oh man. And she looked sharp. She looked really amazing. And Tito Benito did an Uncle Fester, which was great. And Gomez, who was Gomez?
Gomez was Frankie Sin.
Man, she was great.
She's out of the OC. She doesn't come up a whole lot. I've had her perform like 3 or 4 times now.
She was really good.
Nice. Yeah, she's adorable too.
Yeah, everyone was great. It was a great show, but I think clearly the Addams Family, and the crowd had an amazing time.
Yeah.
And there was a bachelorette party there.
Yes, we had a lot of fun. I taught a girl how to do a blowjob.
Yes, you did. You know what? I'm not helping you anymore, by the way. That's over with. I should tell you that. I don't know if I talked about this before, where Lily, she was on stage, and she was like, she was kind of killing time between acts, and it looked like she didn't know what to say. So I go, why don't you tell them about Friday night's show? She goes, nah. And it was like, what the fuck? I'm trying to help here. So stupid me, I don't learn my lesson. So then this week, she's talking to the bachelorettes, and she's doing these things. She brings her the bachelorette, and she teaches her how to do a blowjob, and they congratulate her on her wedding, and yay, and everything's exciting, and they embarrass her. Then they send her back to her table. Now Lily goes, all right, it's time for birthday spankings. Is it anybody's birthday? And it was nobody's birthday. She goes, I got to spank somebody. And I said the name of the bachelorette. I'm like, get her back down here from where I was over there. And Lily just goes, nah, what the fuck?
I don't really need to spank anybody.
I understand.
I'm in control of the show.
I know that.
It does not look like it.
But as an MC, as I'm trying to help,
Yeah.
to bring her down, embarrass her, make her go through all the fucking motions, and then send her back, and then do a thing, and then go, let's get her back to re-embarrass her. Her friends would have gone crazy. It would have been a huge
But
hit.
you also weren't standing next to her, realizing she could barely stand.
Well, yeah, she was blotto.
Getting her off the stage was dangerous.
Yes.
I was more concerned about bringing her back up.
I was more
I'll be
concerned
honest.
about seeing her bend over
Well, yes.
because she was fucking hot.
Yes, she was.
Uh,
Farrah, not Sarah.
yes, it was Farrah. I wasn't going to say her name, but yes, it was Farrah. And I wanted to see her bent over because that skirt was, I mean, it was just, yeah, it was working. It was seriously working for me.
Quite beautiful.
And all of her friends were great. It was great. It was just a great time because bachelorette parties are psycho. But see, what they should do is they should go places like your place where there's strippers and fun.
Do you know what I think was awesome about that bachelorette party? There was not one fake penis in the entire table.
Right. They came out to have a good time, period.
Yeah, they came out to have a good time, not to be total jackass.
By the way, you just said a sentence that has never been uttered in the history of the English language.
What?
Do you know what I think was awesome about that bachelorette party? Never before said in the history of the spoken word.
I had a great bachelorette party twice.
Ah, nice. Looking forward to the third.
No, I've had two.
All right.
Not gonna
You've had your
ruin it.
quota. Well, it was amazing. It was a good time and a great show. And yeah, I had fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was.
This coming Monday night.
Yes.
Now let's deal with this real quick.
It's gonna be weird.
You won't be there.
No, I know.
When was the last time you missed a Monday Night Tease?
My knee surgery, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So Lily Von Stupp will not be at this week's Monday Night Tease. It's going to be a Doc and Stumpy, burlesque, crazy, baggy pants, seltzer in your face, hat company, bullshit extravaganza. Should be a lot of fun. They do very well when they're there. They're once a month, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing their show. And then a ton of hot girls. You mentioned them earlier who was there.
I'm delighted for a couple of the girls that don't perform very often. Bonnie Delight is back. She's
Vonnie Delight? Bonnie
Yeah,
Delight.
she performs maybe twice a year now.
Wow.
So it's nice to see her back. And then Christina Nakaya is competing for the Burlesque Hall of Fame reigning queen title coming up the end of this month in Vegas.
In Las
And
Vegas.
She is running her number at the show that she's going to be competing with. So it's going to be spectacular.
That's Christina Nakaya.
Christina
So
Nakaya.
that'll be amazing. I'll look forward to seeing her.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in Vegas at the end of the month?
I am. I will be in Vegas for 6 days.
Maybe I'll come visit you in Vegas.
Oh, God.
Can I stay in your room? What?
I'll
No,
have a
I
second room for you.
I have no reason to go to Vegas.
You can come to Vegas with me.
Oh, what? Hold on. That changed.
You know, you'll be sharing a room with me and Eddie and like 3 other burlesque dancers. So.
Yeah, and the problem is Christina Nakaya one of those dancers? I'm in.
She's not.
Nikita Bitch Project, she can sleep in my pocket.
She's not. She's got her own. She's got a room of her own.
Yeah.
No, she's got a room with. Who is she rooming with? She's rooming with another couple of girls. There's like 25 Lily's School for Wayward Girls going, and probably about 40 of the performers from Monday Night Tease.
See, this is exactly what I need. I need a weekend out of town with a bunch of crazy girls in a bunch of different rooms.
Well,
I don't know.
at one point, someone's gonna want to go
I'm sorry?
to a
Karaoke bar. See, I was going to say it and you stole it because I was going to wait right to the very end and then go, they have karaoke in Vegas?
Stealing your goddamn joke.
Nothing wrong with that.
See what I was doing there? Why didn't you
Sure.
put the Bachelorette back now?
Well, the good news is, though, if I wind up going to karaoke, I know how to act. I'll just pull out my phone and climb right inside and keep pushing buttons till we get the fuck out of there.
What's really funny is there's no karaoke planned for this weekend.
Oh,
But there is a bowling tournament and a poker tournament.
Really?
With a bunch of strippers.
wait a minute. You're going to play. Do they know that are you playing in the poker tournament?
I originated the poker tournament.
Of course you did
Yeah.
because you're fucking good.
I played last year, but I went out in like 14th or something. Or no, I made it to the final table, so I went out in like 10th.
Who's beating you? I mean, is it.
The last time I went,
Let me real quick. Hold on. Lily really loves poker. When I first met her, she was playing online poker all the time. I mean, like she was on there constantly. And then she went to dealer school, and she was going to deal poker. In addition to playing poker all the time, like she's the kind of person who could be playing 2 poker games at the same time online while having a conversation with you. And she would look up and just fold in and talk and look up and bet and keep betting. I mean, that's her deal. That's what she does. So you were saying.
And when I play in Vegas, I usually do well.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the cash to go, hey, I think I'll go play in some poker tournaments.
Right.
Because, frankly, a $10 buy-in is retarded. It's
Yeah, no, you
7
play-
hours to win $50.
Yeah, you play for real.
Yeah, it's like if I'm going to play, I want a decent buy-in. But
I played with you. You beat my ass.
It's a $50 buy-in, and it's a fun thing, and a portion of it goes to the burlesque hall, so it's nice. That is one of the events I'm doing while we're down there.
Cool.
But I got really drunk because I had VIP tickets,
Mhm.
and part of the thing was if you were at the VIP tables, there was bottle service at the table. So it was like, hey, let's all get drunk. I actually took my panties off and threw them in the table at one point and was told by the casino that I needed to put my panties back on.
Wow. God damn it. And I'm not supposed to come to this trip? Are you shitting me?
I'm not drinking this time at all. not gonna happen.
Dude, listen to me. All right? Listen
I
to me.
got so drunk, I was obnoxious 4 nights in a row, and I'm never doing it again.
Listen to me.
No.
If I come out there,
No.
let's get plastered.
I can't, because there's daytime events that I missed last time. I'm paying a fortune to go to this convention. I can't get loaded, and yeah.
If I came out, let's just get fucking murdered.
No, I can't.
Come on. You've been drunk with me. Or no, I was drunk with you, and I guess you weren't drunk.
You were very funny. My ex-husband was such a puss.
Oh, he was so mad. He was so angry at us.
We need to go back to the hotel because Mike's out of control. And I'm like, and?
I wasn't that out of control.
He's going to break a machine or he's going to... And I'm like, he's not an oof. He's drunk.
Yeah.
Relax. Like, well, I'm just not. And I'm like, well, again, he could never...
He was disappointed. Well, anything he wanted to control the situation at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the anti that.
Yeah.
So again, I come out
we'll
there.
end up in an actual strip club somewhere.
Yes.
I don't got that kind of money anymore, doll. Neither do you. We can't go play like that.
Yeah, but we can talk. That's the thing. We've got that. We've got verbal currency that'll get us fucking elbow deep in some chick. It'll be amazing. That seems high. Elbow deep seems pretty high, but still.
I am pretty good at taking strip
See?
clubs. Strip clubs.
You're throwing underwear on the table. You're picking up these girls.
So bad.
I'm
It's
fucking
so
hysterical.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Everybody has a story from Beehoff, and I'm like, great, now I have one. Wonderful. That's my story.
And now you've told everybody else. Good for you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is a live show that goes to people. Yeah, let's do that.
Talk about this.
I'll show up there. Well, no, I have no reason to go to Vegas.
I don't, except it's the convention, and that's why I'm like, I just paid a bunch of money. I kind of need to go to the
Yeah, you
convention.
got to go. I thought I had a reason to go, but then unfortunately I don't. But I was all ready, boy. I was then.
You know, I mean, you could hang out in the room in the hotel, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, we're getting plowed, man. If I show up,
I can't do that.
I'll go bowl with a bunch of
I'm old.
strippers.
I have a glass of champagne and I'm sick for 2 days. It's not good anymore. I'm an old person.
Well, then we got to get you like a bottle of champagne and make it worth it. We got to make it worth it. God damn it.
No.
So.
Great. Why did I share that?
I love it. I'm in. So unfortunately, you will not be available on this Monday's night tease
No, so
at the
I'm
show.
not gonna be here for this Monday. No.
You'll be in.
I will be at a podcast. Actually.
Oh, yeah, you're doing a
I will
live.
be doing
Well,
a
let me know
video
what that is, and
podcast.
I'll plug it for you.
Yeah.
But you'll be doing a video podcast to talk about the LA burlesque scene.
Yes.
Cool. Will you be coming in when it's over?
It starts at 10.
No
so
way.
down.
What are they like? Turn the lights out and get all strippy? Oh, good for you.
Well, I may perform. I may not. I don't know.
Oh, I see. It's
Not
one of
sure
those.
exactly what we're
Wow.
doing.
Holy shit.
I don't know if it's an hour or an hour and a half.
Cool.
I figure if it's an hour, by the time it's done, I get over to the teas and everything's wrapped up anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But there'll be a ton of hot girls and Doc and
It's gonna
Stumpy,
be a
and
great show.
I'll be working the door on Monday. So come on in and check us out and say hello. That'll be
You'll
fun.
be working the door.
Oh, I'll be working the back door. Terrible. Yeah, we're stupid. We're not smart at all. Well, good. So come out at the Monday Night Teas, and again, the Friday Night Happy Hour, and all of the information for these is available at MondayNightTeas.com or at all the Twitter following places. Yeah, all of her MNTs, MNTs and FN Happy Hour and Lily Bunched Up, Twitter.com/all of those. And you'll get any and all information about any free tickets or any discount tickets that go on sale the day of, or whether it's sold out and you know whether or not to come down, all that kind of stuff. Get all the information at MondayNightTeas.com or follow her on Twitter and get all that information right there. Go to Facebook.com/the40year-old boy, and you can actually become part of the Monday Night Teas group. Yes, right there.
Yeah,
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I can't believe I told that out loud. I'm
Oh,
stupid.
stop. Are you kidding? All right.
I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
In year 6, thank God somebody came up and said something besides me. So that was something memorable. All right. I was throwing cherry tomatoes at grandmothers earlier in the show. You remember that, correct?
Yes.
You're fine. Go to Facebook.com/the40year-old boy. And again, there's the Monday Night Teas page that you can like and follow on Facebook for any and all information and cool stuff there from Lily. While you're at Facebook.com/the40year-old boy, like I said, become my friend and invite me to become your friend. Is that how it works? Yeah. I guess when you ask to become my friend, it's the same type of deal. Who knows? There's a Reddit page floating around out there for the 40-year-old boy that I've written one thing on in my entire life. But if you like Reddit, If you like pages with blank type, go right ahead and just get in there and jump in with these completely unexciting graphic displays that they have on Reddit. What else is there to plug on Facebook? I guess nothing else. Max, you can go to be at facebook.com/David Max Hernandez, be David's friend. And that's that. And because I was going to say, there's no other live stuff to plug. So there's really nothing else on facebook.com/the 40-year-old boy for you to look for, I suppose. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And while you were there, you can go to the Joe Business page. And at the Joe Business page, we have plenty of things that we are offering to you for purchase. There are T-shirts left, not many. I think I'm actually going to have to do a blog entry to tell you what it is because we're getting down into the single digits. Just a couple of extra large Red Boys left, and then everything else is from other cities. So I'm going to figure out a plan there, but right now there's just very few T-shirts left, and no plans just yet for any new ones. Still trying to scheme that and see what happens. The artwork is available, signed artwork. It'll be signed by David, by me, and by Lily, and that's any print or explosion of id or anything that was used regarding the show. We will sign it. Just go ahead and pay for it and order it and tell us what it is, and I will be happy to get it out to you soon. Right now we have 10? I think we've got 10 pending artwork orders. I was off by 5. People who ordered artwork, please hang tight. Thank you so much. As I've mentioned, David Hernandez was hit with the great flood of 2013, and he is still trying to figure out what to do in his house, in his basement. And once he gets that squared away, he can go ahead and send me the artwork because I have to get it from him, and then we will sign it here, and I will send it to you, and all of us will laugh. Please remember that the Schmitty Comes Alive download is available. That is the podcast that was done live. It was my live show at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival last year. That is available for you. People asking me if I'm going to be at this year's Los Angeles Podcast Festival. I don't know. I have no idea. It's not until October. I haven't been asked, but we'll see what happens. And then there's what else do we have? Oh, yeah, the For the Life of Schmitty single is available now. Go ahead and pick up for the For the Life of Schmitty single. That's part of the interlude from this year. It is the single edit of that song. And also year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5 of this podcast are available individually or together as the UN of Evil box set. You can get the Schmidt, the Mike, the Woj, the Mex, the Jimmy O, and Evil Dennis. Those are available right now, 5 for the price of 4. Pick those up now. We would appreciate it. Or get the individual years. That's fantastic. If you just want to buy year 5, that's cool. I'd be happy to have you get it. Remember, Zazzle.com. There's mugs there, Thorgar and Yeep and Fireboy. Tweakedaudio.com/40. There is still the deal now. If you buy year 5 or you buy the UN of Evil box set, tweakedaudio.com will give you either A set of earbuds for the year 5 purchase, or B, a set of earbuds and a 50% off discount purchase code for anything on the website, or C, 2 sets of earbuds. Those final 2 will come if you buy the UN of Evil box set. So thank you to the people at Tweaked for hooking me up and taking care of me and taking care of you guys. I appreciate it. They've been supporting this show forever, and tweakedaudio.com/40 is the best deal going on the internet for anything. Well, maybe not soup. Or maybe only for soup. Maybe they've only decided to sell soup now at tweakedaudio.com/40. I don't know. Earbud soup. Autoerotic asphyxiation soup. And cock ring soup. Lily's in for cock ring soup. And hey, I'll throw this out there, folks. You know, you fine people. Some of you donate to the show. You can donate a one-time donation. That's available now. On the when you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, in the upper left-hand corner of every page, there's a little Schmitty. It says donate. Click on him, and you can fill his pockets to bursting with cash. You can give a one-time donation, or you can donate monthly. You can do $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. All totals, all amounts are appreciated. Every dollar that comes to the show is great and is mighty important these days because this is really my job for now. Let me tell you the story of this, folks. You know, I was just in Detroit doing a live show. Well, about a month ago, I was in Portland, Oregon at the Bridgewater Comedy Festival. Had an amazing time. Maybe I'll go into more depth about it, although I think I've told you a little bit about it. It was great. I wound up hanging out with Mike Siegel, stay in a room with him, had breakfast with him and Paul Gilmartin one day. And the best thing about a comedy festival is you just kind of feel present. You feel, I don't want to say famous, but you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I saw guys like Mike Bridenstine and all these other comedians, Todd Glass. I went to one show And I saw Natasha Leggero go up, and then Todd Glass. And it's funny because the people in Portland, to them, that's all new. I see these guys all the time. But the best part was after Todd finished, Reggie Watts showed up and did a set. And I really like watching what Reggie does. And he fucking tore the roof off this place, and it was full. It was a really good time. I went to a few shows. I saw Mike Siegel do extremely well. I saw our friend Jim Bruce. He did good at a show I was at. I did stand up at one show and did okay. I don't know if I told you. Did I tell any about this? That the guy before me had done a joke about a special needs kid? Yeah. I told that joke on here?
No, you didn't. You told me.
I told you? All right, I'll just tell you the story. The guy before me used the word retard in a joke. This is the only... when I was there, I got one stand-up set, and then I had my live podcast. So it was Friday night. It was this room, and I got to be honest with you. A lot of the people in the crowd were there because they couldn't get into the show across the hall, which was Dad Boner, which was like a really big show. So all these people kind of drifted in. They were texting. It just was kind of a lackluster crowd. Now, I say that fully well knowing that the first three guys killed. They all did very well. And then as it went on, and then Jim Bruce did very well, and then the rest of us did just kind of okay. The guy who went before me went up and he used the word retard in a joke. And then he was like, I apologize. I don't use that word, especially about a special needs person. I just did it, and he did a tap dance. So then they called me up. I was next. And I got up on stage and I go, hey, Jeff said he had the word retard. He said the word retard, and he said he would never use that in front of a special needs kid. That's a mistake. That is the perfect time to use that word because they have no idea what you're talking about. Silence. Because here's the mistake, folks. I think that everybody is going to think that everything that comes out of my mouth is genius at this point. Because I do this show to Lily, who really loves me, and then I do live shows to you guys, and you're always very nice and accommodating, and you'll let me talk in circles and do what the fuck I want. Hey, guess what? Strangers aren't like that. You got to prove to them that you're funny. So I did that joke, and it got nothing. And there was complete silence, and I even looked around, and I went, really? Nothing. I expected a huge anti-retard groundswell. Silence. And I went, okay. And then I tap danced through the rest of my set carefully. And then I walked off, and it was funny. The people from Fun Employment Radio who think that I'm really funny and charming were there. And they were like, that was funny. And I go, you don't have to lie. That went poorly. And they're just like, no, man, that was really good. It's just fuck these people. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm tired of saying that in comedy, you know? I really am. I would like the people to actually respond to me. And we all laughed. But then I hung out all weekend with, I was there with Jim and Paul. Paul Goebel just was fucking hysterical. Did I tell the Ghostbuster story? Oh, it was so funny. And just Paul was roaring at every joke. I just had a great time with him. And with Siegel and Gil Martin. So I was staying with Siegel in his room. And Saturday I got up and I was freaked out because my show was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had already had a face full of silence at Friday night's show. So I'm like, what if a bunch of people show up to see this show and they don't like me? Like, they don't want what I have to bring to the table. And I had been telling you guys for weeks that I was going to do something different than the one man. Because I had done the one man, and a lot of people in Portland had already seen it. Fuck, I had just been there 2 weeks prior doing the one man. And in my head, I'm like, I can't do the one man again. People are going to be bored. So then I eat it Friday night. I did okay. Oh, and I should say this, I did okay there, and then there was an open mic next door, and Ron Lynch was like, you want to go up? I said, yeah, I'll go up. And I went up, and I did okay again. I just tap danced through it. It was in a bar, a lot of yelling. But I was all right. But it didn't matter. It wasn't strong. It didn't make me feel confident about who I am and what I do. So I got up Saturday morning, and I'm studying notes because I was going to do something different. I couldn't figure out what I was going to do. And then I started to panic. And then I started to think, well, you know what? You got to do the one man. That's your calling card. That's the thing that'll get a buzz. That'll get people talking about you. Because if a bunch of strangers come, you can do that. And that's what your CD is. And to the point where I actually texted Rich Galvin, who's a friend of the show. And I said, hey, I know you're coming today. Would you be sad if I did the one man again? Like, you've seen it 3 times. And he's like, no, man. He goes, we come to see you talk, whatever you want to do. So I was like, all right. So now I had an excuse to not do it. And I could just go ahead and hide behind the one man again. So then Siegel comes upstairs. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm worried, and I'm trying to bother him. And Mike wants nothing to do with it. Mike's just like, whatever, dude, go to your act. You're gonna be fine. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not my act. It's different. It's kind of it's a thing. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Like it was so funny. I could tell Mike didn't want it. He didn't want me to talk about it. So Mike goes out, and I'm in a room alone, and I'm going through notes, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna talk about, and trying to build it in my head. And I got in the shower. I should tell you this. We're in this funky hotel called the Hotel 50 in Portland. Glass shower, no door. No door. You climbed in, and there was a glass partition, but it wasn't the door. It was like wide open. And water did not spill out. I thought it would. But I got showered, and in the shower I went, what the fuck is wrong with you? You tell stories. It's what you fucking do. These stories are in your bones. Do what you do what you want to do, and don't fucking worry about it. I usually have these talks with myself when I'm naked. So I get out of the shower, I get dressed, get downstairs, get a shuttle, go to the theater. And I'm kind of vibing on the place, and it was a bigger theater, it could have seated like 80. And then there's a ton of standing room. But I had no idea who was going to show up. Again, it's all free. I don't know anything about the tickets. And then I'm sitting there, and I meet some friends and talk to them. When I walked in, actually, Paul Gilmartin was still doing his live podcast with Karen Kilgariff. And I went up and I talked to Paul while it was on the air. That was kind of funny. It made me laugh. So then afterwards, I met Karen. She was real nice. And I was getting ready to do my show, and my buddy Russ shows up with his friend Carl. And I talked to Carl a little bit. And then I'm gripping. Before a show, I get a little wired, and I try to figure out what I'm going to talk about and how I'm going to launch, because I don't ever have an opening line. So I'm sitting off to the side, and I'm kind of taking in the room and figuring out some things and thinking of some jokes and some lines and what to say. And they start checking the microphone, and they're having trouble with the microphone. They're having trouble with the sound. And I walk over, and I go, "What do you mean?" And they go, because they were going to record the show for me. And they're like, "Yeah, we're having trouble with the thing." And I go, "Well, don't worry about it." I go, "Why?" And I go, "Because look at this crowd." Because there was only like 30 people there in a big theater. And I said, "Look at this crowd." I go, there's barely anybody here. Don't even worry about it. 30 might be high, by the way. And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, don't worry about it." I go, "It's not like I can use this or anything." And Andy, who runs the Bridgetown Festival, looks at me and goes, "You're not going to use this?" And I could see that he was genuinely kind of upset about it. Like I was almost saying, your festival's not worth. But I mean, what do I get out of a podcast that only has like 30 people there? Because I wanted to sell it. Quite frankly, I wanted to sell it to you guys. Because what the fuck? Why not? I need money always. And it was a different thing, and I thought I could do that. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to sell you something. I'm out of words. So Andy goes, "Well, we'll get it fixed." And I go, "All right, that's cool. Get it fixed." Just kick the microphone. So they kept doing microphone checks. They had to do like 5 different microphone checks with the MC, the nice guy producing the show. And then finally I go, "Look," I go, "if it's good." And they go, "No, we think we got it." I go, "Good. I'm ready when you are." So he went up on stage, and he goes, "This is not a microphone check. I just want you to know that we're ready for the show." And then he brings me up, and I went up on stage, and small crowd, and I was weirded out, and we weren't sure about what the microphone would do, and I was fucking hysterical. I was hysterical. And I know you think that I think that about myself all the time, and I probably do. But I was great. Like I was in the moment, killing it and being funny, and then I told a story in addition to talking about what was going on in the moment and all this, and I just kind of grabbed the show by the throat and it didn't matter who was there or not, because in my head I went, what the fuck? What do you care? Who's here? Who's not here? You need to impress one person, yourself. Just fucking get up there and be yourself. Do what you do, and don't fucking worry about it. These people love you. These people love you. And there were a couple of people there in the crowd who did not know who I was. And this woman comes up to me afterwards, and she goes, "You're the funniest guy I've ever seen." And I'm like, "Oh, good. I'm glad you've never listened." And she's just like, "I don't know. I didn't know who you are. We just came by because we were going to try out a new show in the afternoon between shows that we wanted to see." I said, "Oh, well, good." And she's like, "No, I don't even, where do you live?" Like, it was great. Because again, it's the same thing I got at the end of Corolla, where people go, "Where the fuck have you been?" And I just need the right person to say, "Where the fuck have you been?" That's all we're waiting on. But it was amazing. You know, crowd members came up and they were very nice and they were talking to me and everything. And I talked to Andy Wood and he goes, "Oh yeah, we'll get you the audio when we can." And I just had a great, and all the pressure was off then. So then I hung out with Siegel. We wound up back in the hotel room and I'm waiting for Siegel to get a shower because he had a show that night. I was going to go with him. And I'm talking to him and I go, "Hey, do you think what I did today would work in a club?" He goes, "What do you mean? You were just funny." And I go, "I know, but it's different. You know it's different. Because you just walk up and you're telling a story." He goes, "I don't know, just do it." Like he wanted nothing to do with it. It was so funny. And I don't blame him. He was, you know what? He was thinking about his own shows. He had his own thing. Because I saw him kill twice, and it's like I missed his third show when I went out of town. But I saw him do extremely well twice, and so yeah, of course he's concentrating on his own shit. He doesn't need me climbing into his head and going, "Hey, am I okay? Am I good?" Fuck that. He was like, "Yeah, you were funny. You know that's just be funny. That's all you got to do." So we hang out. I leave the next day from Bridgetown. I come home. I get the audio in like 4 days. Andy sends it. He's like, "Here you go." I'm like, "Awesome," because I was going to put it on sale the first week of year 6. I was all excited. And I played the audio and I listened to it. And I was fucking crestfallen because they didn't microphone the crowd. There's no microphones in the crowd. So it essentially sounds like just me talking in a garage. You can hear some laughter. But you really can only hear me being funny. And but I will tell you this, I am extremely funny. All right, I really was proud of it. I thought I did really well. So I told Lily, I go, "We can't sell this." And she's like, "Well, try to get the wave file from Andy and see if it's different." And I wrote Andy and he goes, "We didn't mic the crowd, so it's not going to be any different." And I'm like, "All right, well, I'll shine it." So I talked to Mex and I go, "Yeah, I can't sell this." I go, I won't because it doesn't sound like anything worth charging for. I mean, I'm worth charging for. I'm funny. But I just didn't feel like putting it out there seemed like a mercenary move to me. I know, and I'm an idiot, and that's fine because I could use the cash, but whatever. So we decided to hold on to it. We're like, well, we'll put it up in case there's a week I have to be off, and use it instead of a clip show. We'll throw up the Bridgetown show. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold it in reserve. We may never use it, but we may use it. We don't know. But I will tell you this. Anybody who's donated to the show, any monthly donor to the show, you will have the Bridgetown Comedy Festival performance in your mailbox by the time you hear this. I'm sending them tonight because I'm recording on Wednesday. So I'll send them overnight Wednesday. You'll have them by Thursday. If you are a monthly donor to the show, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for supporting. And so I will reach out and give you something that nobody else has. I will give you my performance from Portland. And I just spent the time telling you that I shouldn't charge for it because I didn't think it was good enough to charge for. And that's semi-true. If it's billed as a live podcast, I think that's false. It was a live podcast, but you can't hear the crowd, so it seems ridiculous. However, if it's just me talking, it's fucking great. So as a thank you to you guys for having donated to the show for so long, anybody who is a monthly donor is going to get this copy. You've already got it, so I just want to make sure you know. Check your mailboxes. It's been sent to you. Anybody who is a monthly donor to this show, you've got a copy of the Bridgetown show. And I will say this, too. Remember I said the thing last week? I go, who listens to the plugs? I have no idea who listens to the plugs. I don't know who listens this long. And then people set up a poll on my fan club page, and I got a ton of emails going, I listen to the end, man. I listen to the last note of the fucking song. Or I listen to when your voice fades out. I had a guy who was like, I can't listen to the song because it gets me too pumped up. Like, I mean, people are all very cool. And some people leave on, you guys can get me on, and that's fine. As long as you're listening, I appreciate it. But as a test of who listens to the plugs, anybody who signs up this week to be a monthly donor, you will get a copy of the Portland performance of the Bridgetown Comedy Festival. And that's any amount on the monthly donors, $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month. If you sign up to become a monthly donor this week, and by this week, I mean Thursday to Thursday. So that will be from right now, when the show drop, we'll say Thursday morning to Thursday morning. Not that you're going to scramble in next Wednesday night late and go, I finally got in. If you're going to do it, you're just going to fucking do it. Nobody's else going to wait till the final minute. But I want you to know that how much I appreciate you guys who are monthly donors. So if you do monthly donate to this show now, you've got a copy. It's been sent to you. If you are going to sign up in the next week, you will get a copy sent to you along with my thanks. So go ahead. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and sign up right now. Do that. I've made Lily sit here long enough. We got to go get Powerball tickets for fuck's sake. And I'll be honest with you, if we win the Powerball, I don't care about you and your fucking donations. If I, no bullshit. If I win the Powerball, everybody gets the Portland show. You know why? Because I'll put it up next week and it'll be the final show in the history of the podcast. Because Lily and I will take our Powerball winnings and fucking just disappear. We will be gone. We will be throwing panties all over casino tables from here to fucking Morocco. It's going to be fantastic. I'm human lunch meat. I'm nobody. I'm baloney in pants. God damn it. Why do I think I'm somebody special? Why do I think I'm anybody interesting? I'm not. All I bring to the table is everything that everybody else does, but louder. Don't hit snooze on me, motherfucker. I am a hilarious noise machine. I'm going to tell you this. You need to sit down and reevaluate your life if you can pull 2 midget Indian wrestlers out of your skull at any time. You know what? I don't even need you people here. Seriously, I do this. I love me. I don't give a fuck what you think, how you think. God damn it, I'm the greatest. I can't go for Schmidt. No, no. No can do. 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 No can do.